A long winter is finally over, and the color of spring invokes images of baseball. Whether it be Busch Stadium or a Little League park, the city of St. Louis takes its love for the game to the highest level. We all dream to just one time hit a ball like Mark McGwire, around the bases like Jim Edmonds. St. Louis's love affair with the game is unmatched, as baseball becomes the focal point of the summer. The Cardinals captured a division crown in 2000. The sights are set for even higher rewards this season. So dust off the glove and head outside. April is here. The tradition of Cardinal baseball adds yet another chapter. Will this year provide more lasting memories? It's the 2001 home opener. Let the summer officially begin. And welcome back to Busch Stadium, everybody. Home opener 2001 for the 36th time here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals open up their home schedule. It's been said many times. It's been written about many times. The Sea of Red is out, and we are ready for baseball in just a few moments. Joe Buck and Al Roboski back with you. Yes, we've survived another offseason, and we're back for another year in the booth. Good to be with you, and gosh, it's good to be home, isn't it?
It really is, even though we've only been in the beds for a couple hours, but it's nice to be home. It's nice to see the friendly fans here, to see the Sea of Red, and the ballpark looks magnificent.
Yeah, every year you come back here and you wonder how the ballpark's going to look. You know it's going to look better than it did the year before. I always rack my brain and say, how are they going to make this place better than it was the previous year? But they do it. A fresh coat of paint. They cleaned every place up. They put a new clubhouse in. These players are pampered. That's what everybody wants to hear more from. Pampered big leaguers, but they have a wonderful place. Let's go down to the field. And
Good
Daddy
afternoon and
Jack.
welcome to the first of 81 home games that the Cardinals are going to play here at Busch Stadium. Isn't it great to have opening day back in St. Louis and welcome our 2000 Central Division champions? To officially begin our ceremonies, let's greet the opponents for the next three games. The 2001 Colorado Rockies, a very good baseball team. And first, here's their manager, a member of the three-generation baseball family, Buddy Bell. Buddy, welcome to St. Louis again. Now let's meet his coaches and players. Welcome, sir. Here are the coaches and players. Coach Brad Andrus. Coach Dave Garcia, who's from East St. Louis. Toby Harrah. Clint Hurdle. Fred Kendall. Dallas Williams. Rich Donley. Marcel Latchman. Nelson Rodello, the bullpen catcher. These are the coaches of the Rockies. And here is the Colorado team. Outfielder and a former St. Louisan, Ron Gant. Ron Gant. Infielder Juan Uribe. Catcher Ben Petrick. Infielder Jeff Cirillo. Catcher Brent Main. Outfielder Juan Pierre.
Well, while the Hall of Famer introduces you to the Colorado Rockies, we'll take a break. We don't need to know them. They pounded us for 3 games last week. We'll meet the Cardinals in a moment. Well, the weather turns out to be beautiful here in St. Louis. A little warm, but considering the alternative, cold and rainy, we'll take this any day. It is opening day here at Busch Stadium. And again, Joe Buck and Al Roboski with you. The motorcade is about to begin. We just went through 2 opening days on this last road trip. We were in Phoenix, before that in Colorado. There is no opening day in baseball like the one here in St. Louis.
Yeah, everyone is special, but it just seems like the one in St. Louis is unique, and it is absolutely the best.
So the Cardinals will make their way around in the motorcade. Fred Bird is going to lead the charge onto the field. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But shortly the Cardinal manager, his coaches, and the players will follow. Mike talked about the reception Rick Ankiel will get. That's the one I'm looking forward to, and I think if anything's going to send chills up your spine, I think that's going to be the one.
Joe, yesterday, and I know you probably had to feel the same way, but I found myself literally with tears as I watched in the clubhouse. I mean, in the dugout, when he got in there and his teammates really grabbed him and gave him a big hug. He's such a neat kid. Everybody in baseball was pulling for him, and he really rewarded all of us.
For as hard as it was to watch when he was struggling, it was just that wonderful watching him mow down hitters, and you could see his confidence grow each pitch, each inning, and to see a guy come out of it and do what he did yesterday was one of the most special regular season games I've ever seen.
Yeah, I told Tony that you never watched your daughters in ballet more intently than what you watched Rick yesterday, and the same way with Dave Duncan with his sons. They were on pins and needles, and they've done a great job. It's not over yet, but they've got a lot of work to do with him, but it was a great start.
So Tony and the gang, they head for home plate, and we go back down to the field and Jack Buck. Well, thanks, Dad. Thanks for reading your script. Maybe next year he'll get it right. Cardinals make their way around the warning track area, and as we have every year, seemingly every homestand, it's one Hall of Famer after another. They are so active, so involved with the current Cardinals, guys like Red Schoendienst, Lou Brock, Bob Gibson. They're easy to spot around here, and they do not make themselves scarce. It's so neat how much they give back to this organization.
Well, it's so neat that the new ownership wanted them to be a part of the organization again.
Jack's ready.
Here's Tony La Russa, the Cardinals skipper, who's shooting for his third division title in 6 tries. Folks, included in this cavalcade of Cardinal players and coaches, here's a gentleman who's considered to be one of the most knowledgeable baseball people in the game. He's been with the Cardinals for 60 years, George Kissel. 60 years for George Kissel. And the Cardinal coach, he was nicknamed the secret weapon by Mike Shannon. Here's the third base coach, Jose Oquendo. He is followed to the home plate area by the Cardinal hitting coach, Mike Easler. Included in this cavalcade are some 2002 Ford Explorers, the 2001 Ford Mustang, and a Ford Super Crew. This is another Cardinal coach, Mark DeJong. And the next gentleman is going to be inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, Mr. Dave McKay. Next in line is one of your Cardinal favorites of all time, Hall of Famer, Red Schoendienst. We know you love the redhead, and you also love another Hall of Famer, Lou Brock. Was there ever a better pitcher then Bob Gibson, the Hall of Famer. And these Cardinal coaches and their manager are followed in the parade by outfielder J.D. Drew. And next in line, infielder outfielder Craig Paquette. Arriving at the home plate area is a fellow who hit a home run yesterday in Arizona. This is Eli Marrero. Eli Marrero is followed by a gentleman who had a terrific season last year for the Cardinals. Here is Placido Polanco. And first baseman outfielder Larry Sutton. I've always told people that nobody is capable of giving a warmer welcome to a Cardinal newcomer than you fans. Here's one of those newcomers, pitcher Dustin Hermanson. He is followed by Cardinal pitcher Matt Morris. And next is the Cardinal #1 closer from a year ago, Dave Beard.
We're going to take another quick break as the players make their way around the warning track. We'll come back and continue with the pregame festivities this 2001 opening day in a moment.
Here's a new Cardinal pitcher in the big leagues for the first time, Chad Hutchinson. Don't run over him. And Cardinal pitcher Gene Steckschulte. This is our resident photographer. He's enjoying every minute of it. We enjoyed every minute of him yesterday. Rick Ankiel. Here's the starting lineup for today. Here's the Cardinals' second baseman. I can still see him hitting that home run in Atlanta, Fernando Vina. Next in line is a fellow who made a great stop to start a key double play yesterday, the shortstop Edgar Renteria. In the next Mustang is today's center fielder, Jim Edmonds. And simply stated, here's the only man to ever hit 70 home runs in a single season, Mark McGwire. Well, let's see how good you are at welcoming a Cardinal newcomer. He is outfielder Bobby Bonilla. And a very good start this year for outfielder Ray Langford. Playing third base today is Albert Pujols. Cardinal catcher Mike Matheny is in the bullpen, and the Cardinal starter is Andy Bennett. Some of the dugout people are trainer Barry Weinberg, assistant trainer Brad Henderson, rehab coordinator Mark O'Neill, the strength coach Freddie Pete Prinz, the equipment manager Buddy Bates, the bullpen catcher in the bullpen today is Jeff Murphy. Folks, I don't know if you folks have heard the news or not, the sad news, and I'm sure some of the Rockies would like to step out of the dugout and doff their cap. A moment of silence for Hall of Famer Willie Stargell, who passed away this weekend, and also for longtime Cardinal beat baseball writer Jack Herman, who passed away last week. A moment of silence, if you will, for Jack Herman and the wonderful Willie Stargell. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2001 Cardinals. Our nation colors today will be presented by the United States Transportation Command's Joint Service Color Guard of Scott Air Force Base in Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, greet the Color Guard. Our national anthem today will be performed by two very special people. Richard Heyman, principal pops conductor of our world-renowned St. Louis Symphony, is joined by his harmonica-playing buddy, the Hall of Famer Stan the Man Musial. Here is a very special presentation of our national anthem. Let's finish it here. Oh, take it. Ladies and gentlemen, here's another well-known duo. Catching our ceremonial first pitch is America's most popular storyteller and writer, Mr. John Grisham. He is the author of 12 novels, all of which have been #1 bestsellers. 6 of his novels have been made into highly successful feature films. His new novel, A Painted House, published in February of this year, is narrated by a young Arkansas farm boy who, like the author, a die-hard Cardinal fan. Mr. Grisham is currently making a movie called Mickey about a father and son relationship that is forced and then tested in Little League Baseball. And to throw out the first pitch to Mr. Grisham is a gentleman who came along last October, ending a 15-year Major League career. In 51 games with the Cardinals, he hit 12 home runs. His leadership, his style, captured the fancy of you fans, helped the Cardinals into the playoffs. Please welcome back to St. Louis, Mr. Will Clark. Here's a happy moment coming. If you'd like to be seated, folks. In January, we announced a special limited edition lithograph featuring some of the greatest players in Cardinal history. 200 lithographs were sold at $2,500 each to benefit the backstoppers. Cardinal owner David Pratt matched that $500,000. I'd like to bring Mr. Pratt out here for one moment. And on the field, our St. Louis Police Chief, Ron Henderson, St. Louis County Police Chief, Ron Battelle, St. Louis Fire Chief, Sherman George. They are going to display a large copy of the lithograph, which will be signed and presented to the St. Louis Hall of Fame. Also here are the artists, Mr. Russell Irwin, Art Margulis, the president of the Backstoppers, along with Mr. David Pratt. Here is a historical moment, folks. On the field are 5 Hall of Famers, 1 player who will be a Hall of Famer at this time next year, and 1 who will be a Hall of Famer when he retires. These are the gentlemen who made this possible. Red Schoendienst, Stan Musial, Lou Brock, Bob Gibson, Ozzie Smith, and Mark McGuire. And it is our pleasure to present this check for $1 million to the Backstoppers. We hope and pray the money will never be used, and we thank these wonderful Hall of Famers.
David Pratt, one of the Cardinal owners, a very giving man. And those Hall of Famers signing those lithographs, $1 million check to one of the most worthy causes out there, the Backstoppers. These are the memories that we just experienced. Now it's time to play baseball. We'll come back, Cardinals and Rockies, in just a few minutes. Welcome to opening day 2001. All the pomp and circumstance of a home opener. But this season is already a week old, and the Cardinals come home 3-3, thanks in large part to the work of Rick Ankiel yesterday. Andy Bennis is on the mound today. He'll try to keep the momentum going. Well, these are very special days in the city of St. Louis, and down below Busch Stadium, a ballpark that's been around since 1966. The Cardinals open up their home schedule, and these fans can't wait to see the first pitch leave the hand of Andy Benes. And these players are so thrilled to be home. Players, staff, you name it. We've all been gone for a long time, and there is no baseball place like this city. Today, it's the Colorado Rockies and the St. Louis Cardinals in the home opener. And welcome again to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck along with Al Raboski. When we put on our sport coats in an 86-degree day with humidity all over the place, we're serious. That means that baseball is just around the corner, and so many good things to talk about in this first week already. You guys touched on it during the pregame. Who was going to fill the void at third base? Tatis is gone. There were 3 names mentioned, the least of which was Albert Pujols. All 3 guys that are filling in at third base are doing fantastic work.
Yeah, we're not talking about McGuire and Edmonds. We're talking about the 3 Ps. These guys have been outstanding. Paquette, he's hitting .313. Polanco's leading the major leagues in hitting, and Albert Pujols, he's 3rd in rookies. But I'm telling you what, there's so much more of a story to that .348 average, and playing many different positions today. It just happens to be 3rd.
Yeah, it's the way that Pujols looks at the plate. He seems so much more experienced than he really is. It's hard to remember that he's only 21, and it's hard to remember he's only had 1 year of professional baseball experience. 1
year of professional baseball, and that was that. The majority of it was at single-A ball, but he conducts himself as a seasoned veteran. Nothing phases him. It was very interesting that the fact that if he's got an outstanding pitcher up there, maybe he has a couple tough at-bats, that 3rd time he goes up there as confident as when he stepped in the batter's box the first time. Arizona, the first pitch he saw from them, they tried to knock him down. Didn't intimidate him. He didn't move, didn't flinch. Next pitch was a fastball that was up, and he hit his first major league home run.
He's in the lineup today. I promise we are going to play baseball at some point. Dan McLaughlin will be along on the other side of this break. Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Michelob Light. For a smooth, satisfying taste you won't find in an ordinary light beer. Beer or Michelob Light. By your local Chrysler and Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on Fox Sports Net. By Pennzoil, protection under the toughest conditions. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. More and more people depend on Dobbs. And by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom, 30 years, 1 mission, low fares.
Well, throughout the afternoon on Fox Sports Net, opening day at home, we'll be talking to many of the dignitaries that are in attendance. Cardinal President Mark Lamping is with us. And Mark, opening day here in St. Louis, nothing comes close to it around Major League Baseball.
You know, this is a tradition in St. Louis unlike any other city in Major League Baseball. This is only possible because of the quality of our fan base. Clubs can plan things similar to this, but what sets the Cardinals apart are the 50,000 people in the stands.
50,000 here today. I know you're expecting huge attendance all season long, and this is just going to be an outstanding year, and thanks for the visit. Best of luck this year.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks to all the Cardinal fans and Fox Sports Midwest. You're a wonderful partner, and we look forward to a great year.
That is Cardinal President Mark Lamping. Joe and Al have the play-by-play when we come back from Busch Stadium. The home opener is up next.
Beautiful day. It's hot, humid. This is Cardinal baseball weather, and we give you the Chrysler Jeep starters. Denny Nagel, he already beat the Cardinals once this year, 10 times in his career, 10-5 against Andy Benes, who had a rough start. Look at the ERA with that effort out of Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Cardinals are already on the field. There's Buddy Bell, the manager for the Colorado Rockies. He does a fantastic job with this group, and we look at his Southwest Airlines starting lineup. They lead it off with a guy who can run. Juan Pierre is in center field. Batting second is Todd Walker. He's hitting .400. Larry Walker, no relation, hitting 3rd. Todd Helton cleans up. Then it's Jeff Cirillo at 3rd. Former Cardinal Ron Ganton left. Brent Main, the catcher. Juan Uribe playing short, just called up from Double-A. Denny Nagel, pretty good hitting pitcher, is batting 9th. There's Andy Benes, and here's his scouting report.
Well, he's a lot of home runs. A lot of pitches are out over the middle of the plate. He has reached double figures the last 6 years, but he would like to atone for his first start where the Colorado and Denny Nagel beat him.
So Andy Benes takes a moment behind the mound, collects his thoughts, and prepares to work to Juan Pierre, a guy who has filled a role for these Rockies. They have really changed their approach with their outfielders. They used to have guys that were slow and can hit the ball 2 miles. Now they have guys that are fast and can hit the ball 1 mile, which is fine out in Denver, Colorado. This guy is not a home run threat, He gets on and he starts trouble. He shows bunt and he takes the ball low and away.
Played in 5 of 6 games this year. He sat out the game that Andy started. In the first game, he broke a streak of 57 consecutive singles with an extra base hit, a triple.
That's off the glove of McGuire to the pitcher covering. Forget it. Not with Pierre, and picking up right where they left off. 2 pitches, 1 hit. Let's go around the horn and meet your St. Louis Cardinals. Today's Around the Horn brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Mark McGuire is at first base. Second baseman Fernando Vina. He's off to a fantastic start. Albert Pujols, who would have thought it at the start of spring training. Edgar Renteria is the shortstop. Out in the outfield, Ray Langford off to a fast start in left. Jim Edmonds, good to have him back in the lineup in center. Bobby Bonilla, his first Cardinal start, fresh off the DL. Mike Matheny doing the catching, and Bennis is on the hill.
So that was a prime example. One of the things the Cardinals worry about is Andy's mobility at first, and McGuire, you know, is slowed down with his knee problems also.
A couple of bad right knees combined to allow an infield single to Juan Pierre. Here's Todd Walker. Walker, it's good to see that at least he didn't slow down after the Cardinals left. He's off to a 10 for 25 start. He has 2 home runs. He hit a home run against the Cardinals on opening day against Darryl Kyle in the first inning, and the Rockies were off and running from that moment on. An 8-0 loss that day, and the Rockies scored 32 runs against the Cardinals in that series.
So they batted .410 as a team. They come in still with a .347 average, but Walker is 1 for his last 10. San Diego came in following the Cardinals and swept them. And their coaching staff were saying, boy, we were just crushed. And I said, yeah, we know the feeling.
Cardinals then got out their brooms and swept up the Diamondbacks. 1 ball, no strikes. Walker shows bunt. That's Pujols with a bare hand pickup and the out. Nothing to it for the rookie. 1 away. Down to second is Juan Pierre, and that's a very different game than the Rockies would play at home. You would not see a leadoff infield single and a bunt from Todd Walker from a guy hitting 400, and I guarantee you Andy Bennis is happy they bunted. Here's Larry Walker. Our Hyundai dealers' key matchup will be the heart of this Rocky lineup. 3, 4, 5 hitters against Bennis this year. Those are some ugly numbers, but it's one bad start. You have to keep that in mind. You can't blow it out of proportion.
We showed it to you. Now we'll get rid of it. That's the last negative we're going to show you.
Here's Larry Walker. He's 4th in the league, getting .520.
Oh, Andy should never have thrown that pitch with his shortstop standing on second base. Renteria trying to get behind the runner at second and keep him close, and with him standing flat-footed at the bag. Look at you never, if you're a pitcher, you never throw a pitch with your defense out of position. You step off and let him get back there.
Walker waits with Pierre at second, 1 out. There's one inside. That was a problem with Bennis in Denver, not working the inside part of the plate.
Absolutely, Joe. It just seemed like everything was in the middle or away. You've got to throw inside to keep those hitters from diving across the plate on your slow stuff.
Rockies try to grab a first inning lead. Larry Walker takes an inside strike, so you get a double benefit. You get a pitch up and in, and he gets the high strike called to make it 1-2.
And he has to pitch inside to keep honest. He doesn't have the overpowering fastball anymore, so he must keep these hitters honest. And Larry Walker, he doesn't particularly like to be pitched inside. He wants to get his arms extended. Come to think of it, who does?
A ball and 2 strikes. Runner at second, 1 out. That's a foul ball.
Look
at back.
Oh.
And Bennis wisely picked it up.
Yeah, he was going to wait and see if he could get an easy out with Walker not running, but then he also had the presence of mind to remember there was a runner that was on second that had rounded third and waiting to score if he wanted to get the easy out.
And once Walker started to run, Bennis had to pick it up. Make sure it was a foul ball, or Walker blew right past Andy, would have had an infield hit. So the count's still 1-2. Walker has had at least 2 hits in every game he's played first week of this season. Got him on the inside corner, a letter high pitch, 2 out. And Walker has a parting shot for the young umpire Drake behind the plate.
Well, that's what you've got to do, but you can tell, watch the way he jumps away from it. He doesn't want any part of a pitch inside. He wants to get his arms extended. So not only do you keep him honest, but you got an umpire that's going to call it. Little different start this time around for Andy.
But Andy still has one of the toughest hitters in baseball to go through to keep it a scoreless first inning. Todd Helton smothered by Matheny.
Yeah, Todd Helton led the major leagues with a 372 average last year. Off to a slow start, but unlike most of the Rockies that hit only well in Coors Field, he hit 353 on the road.
Runner at second, 2 out now. And a pop-up. Will it stay in play? No. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You get a hit for a high average, you cannot be a pull hitter. You can pull some, but we saw in the series that he has the power, particularly in Coors Field, to hit the ball out in left field. But you still see predominantly he's going to the big part of the diamond.
And there is no bigger diamond
absolutely
an outfield than in Denver, Colorado. That's a little too far up and in. 2 balls and a strike. On deck is Cirillo, and Andy Benes can afford now, with first base open and 2 out and a right-hander on deck, to be a little more careful with this hitter Helton. The defense, they play Helton to pull, even though we just illustrated to you that he is a guy who will go to center in the opposite way. 2 balls and a strike. Runner at second, 2 out, and Benes says hello to Johnny Pete. Against Andy Benes, these numbers are fantastic.
8 for 22, 364, 1 home run, 6 RBIs.
That's low and away, 3-1. We have a barrel full of high Colorado averages in whatever situation you want to put them in against Cardinal pitching. It's not just the first series of this season. The Cardinals have never played well out there, even when they were playing in Mile High Stadium. The 3-1. That's all right. The 2 out walk, and it's up to Cirillo.
That's all right if you get the next guy out, but Jeff Cirillo has been a nemesis for Andy also.
I'll take my chances this way as opposed to the other on 3-1.
I understand, and Andy's going to pitch Cirillo a little different, but in his career, he's a .526 hitter against Andy, .318 on the early season.
You look at the comparison. Third baseman Cirillo on the road, he hit .239 with 2 home runs. He hit only 11 all of last year. He's already hit 2 this season, but at home over 400. Former Milwaukee Brewer, as was the guy behind him, Mike Matheny. Little out in front, strike 1.
So with those 11 home runs, he battered pitchers for 115 RBIs last year. They felt he would be the type of guy that would be a high average hitter, and they knew they'd get a lot of RBI production because he just hits a ton of doubles.
Very different type player than the guy they used to have, Vinny Castilla. Very sure-handed defensively. The 0-1 pitch. That's back behind the plate. Matheny will watch it go into the seats, and it's 0-2.
Joe, another pitch inside and locked him up. The only thing he could do was open up, pops the ball up. So Andy making location, making pitches. And you see him how it come in so far inside. He really opened up with the hips, and then the hands drop a little bit, popping up, but it got out of play.
2 on, 2 out, 0-2 on Cirillo. Off the end of the bat, a little flare. Vigna. It's a different story in St. Louis. Vigna out to make the play. Andy Benes around a hit and a walk in the first, and after a half inning, no score. The Rockies did not score in the first. The Rockies did not score in the first. Bottom of the first inning, no score. And Tony La Russa's Southwest Airlines starting lineup. They lead it off with Fernando Vigna at second base. Edgar Renteria batting second at short. Jim Edmonds hitting third. Mark McGuire cleans up. Bobby Bonilla in right field. Ray Langford's out in left. Albert Pujols, a terrific series in Arizona. Mike Matheny does the catching. And Andrew Venice is pitching. Denny Nagel, his scouting report.
He throws a fastball, a slurve. It's kind of a combination between the curve and slider, and changeup. Career against the Cardinals, very good. 10.5 ERA over 4, but he has one save also, and he was 2-0 a year ago.
Fernando Vina, last season, in his first at bat as a Cardinal here at home, hit a triple into center field against the Cubs. Cardinals were off and running from that point on and ended up winning that game. Fernando with those little feet digging into the batter's box. Wouldn't surprise me if changeup missed a little up and in, if Fernando let it glance off his body.
Oh, he's the best, absolutely the best. Led the league with 28 hit batsmen last year.
That's on the inside corner with a strike. Not an overpowering fastball for Denny Nagel. Will keep hitters honest, but it is not his best pitch.
You know what he does so well? He adds and subtracts. He'll take a little off of this, add a little more to that, and he works both sides of the plate.
Vina 0-2. Fernando Vina out in Phoenix. First game in, had a 5-hit night. Couple hits the next day. He made defensive plays that were just dazzling. He was as valuable as any Cardinal in that series.
They all picked up the pace without the big guys.
The 0-2. Vina stays alive. Nagel, as you know, has bounced around. He's been with 6 different organizations. Originally with the Twins, he made his name with the Pirates, but he's been with the Atlanta Braves. He's been with the Cincinnati Reds. He's with the Rockies after a short while last year with the Yankees. The 0-2. Vina spoils that pitch.
That's what he can do. He can hit. Not afraid to get to 2 strikes, and then he'll just kind of work the pitcher. He'll foil his good deliveries and then wait for a mistake.
Vina trying to get on to start the bottom of the first. And another effort by Vina to spoil a pitch.
You know, Joe, when you have a little matchup like this, even if Vina does not get on, he's done his job by making the pitcher work and throw numerous pitches.
Here it is on 0-2 again. And there's one low and away. Nagel didn't give him a chance to foul that one away.
Yeah, that's right. He finally got something far enough away from him. He couldn't tantalize him.
Fernando.
There it is.
That is an automatic right there. Vina down to first, hit by the pitch. Third time he's been plunked this season. Today's Around the Horn is brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Center. Todd Helton, he can hit and he can play first base. Todd Walker is at second base, off to a good start. Jeff Cirillo over at third with Juan Uribe, the shortstop. Ron Cant is out in left field. Juan Pierre is out in center, and Larry Walker's in right. Brent Maine does the catching. Denny Nagel is on the mound. So Vina's on, hit by the pitch. And the Cardinals put their leadoff man aboard. Edgar Renteria, the 3-run home run in yesterday's win in Arizona. It took it from 6-2 to 9-2, and the Cardinals won it 9-4. And it wasn't a certainty until Vina picked up a dribbler off the bat of Matt Williams to end it.
Average down a little bit, but they had 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. Just following up that Silver Slugger award that he got last year, best hitting shortstop.
Vina's running, hit and run was on, and Renteria fouled it. I like to see the Cardinals start some action on the bases.
Absolutely. Put pressure on these guys. They're not used to winning on the road, so let's see how they play when they're trying to catch up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man.
Mean bad Rockies.
That's 1,737 victories. That's tops in active managers.
Renteria with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Edgar just lost his balance.
Yeah. Denny Nagel, as we said, will pitch on both sides of the plate. He can hit all 4 quadrants with his fastball and breaking pitches, and then got that changeup that he'll take speed off of it also.
Career numbers for Nagel. It's been a good career.
Absolutely.
Do they start the runner again? No. Renteria pops it up. Larry Walker gives way to Juan Pierre, 1 away. So 1 on 1 out, and Jim Edmonds will step to the plate for only the 2nd time since the Cardinal team charter took off out of Denver International Airport. He made a bad decision. Evidently lost his temper and kicked something after a strikeout in Denver. His left toe swelled up. It's been getting better every day. And it's all the more remarkable that the Cardinals did what they did in Phoenix without Edmonds and McGuire. They played very good baseball.
Absolutely, Joe, but it's that back toe, and as he hits, you can see that he puts an awful lot of pressure. He comes up on the ball of his foot and really just pushes off, pirouettes off that toe. So last time he faced Nagel, I think he set a little history.
Well, that home run, the 1st inning home run that he hit was, I mean, that made your jaw drop.
They cheated him about 50 to 75 feet on it.
At least.
They only called it 488, and that was definitely well into the 500s.
1 on 1 out. Snap throw, and Pena back.
And Nagel served up that one to Jim Edmonds, and Edmonds has had great success against Nagel.
That's not bad. Another snap throw. Got Edmonds up with Mark McGuire on deck. Talked to Edmonds before the game. Said, "Are you going to play?" He said, "I think I've earned an opening day start." I said, "It's not a question of whether you earned it or not. You hit 40 home runs. Are you healthy?"
The skipper's desperately trying to put you in there.
There's a strike, 1-1. Safe to say Edmonds was taking all the way, and he didn't like that call.
I think he was taking and was sure that it was going to be a 2-0 count, but looked like that one was a little bit wide.
On 1-1, Edmonds backing out of play, and he gives a little after his swing.
Yeah. He really hits so much and puts so much pressure on him himself. Throw it down the middle, and he's going to do a lot of damage. Bell tie inner half he likes, but you see he doesn't truly, even 278 is not that high average, so anything inside it's not his favorite either.
Nagel still paying attention to Vina with a 1-ball 2-strike count on Edmonds. I will say, though, of the Cardinal power hitters, Edmonds is probably the best high ball hitter.
Oh, and he loves it up there. You can get him to chase the ball up and out of the strike zone, but he can make some solid contact with the ball up and hit it a long way.
And Nagel evidently doesn't realize that's Vina over at first. But he is really bothered by
he saw
Fernando.
Lou Brock today. He saw Lou Brock, and so he thought that the leadoff man was going to steal.
Look at this. Vina is going to call time. The crowd's growing restless, and Nagel just making sure that Vina stays put. And Fernando last year stole 10 bases. He is a wonderful leadoff hitter, but he's still not that type of guy that's going to get on and run time and time again.
It's a good way to get your defense back on their heels.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Called him out high and tight. Edmonds doesn't say much. And now it's McGuire.
Well, Larry Walker, let's go back to the pitch-by-pitch sequence, and you'll see how he kind of changes speeds. So he pitch down and away, finally gets 1-1, then the ball is up a little bit, and there's the strike 3. And Edmonds didn't like it, but Larry Walker says, "I know what you feels like."
Now McGuire. Mark did not play at all in Phoenix. He didn't play the final day in Colorado, having trouble driving off that back knee, and that is critical to his hitting success. Ball one. McGuire 0 for 7 the first 2 games of that Colorado series.
Mark has never really hit Denny Nagel, but you see the brilliant career that he has, and they're waiting for him to join the ranks of Cooperstown.
1 on, 2 out. 1 ball, 1 strike. McGuire definitely concerned with how his knee felt while the team was in Phoenix. And he will tell you that he probably did too much in spring training, thinking that some of that soreness would leave. Got a little worse, and he shut it down for 4 games. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, 2 out. No score in the first. 2-1.
Joe, you could really tell Mark when he left Florida that he just did not have the swing. I mean, he has one of the most explosive, quick bats in the game. And we talked about Nagel pitches so much away. He keeps the honest there, but then the dead fish down and away, and that gets marked.
Count in McGuire's favor. That's just outside. 3-1 with Bobby Bowe waiting on deck.
And that's the pitch that Nagel retires Mark on. But Mark's had a much bigger, longer swing because of that right knee.
In the air to left field. Back into the corner. Gant giving it a look. It is foul. Home run distance, but on the wrong side of the pole.
So there was a marked difference in the way he swung in Colorado. He's 0-7, and everything was a lazy little looping fly ball to the other deal. This is where he hits his home run. He pulls. He's much of a pull hitter. There's no field that can contain him. But he has such a quick bat and explosion that he pulls so many pitches, and that's why he falls victim to that changeup down and away.
At Busch Stadium, since he became a Cardinal, 106 of his 554 home runs. 106 home runs in 228 games.
Oh, I mean, it was a ridiculous pace before he hurt his knee of 1 home run every 2 games.
Now the 3-2 pitch. Vina will go. In the air to center field. Pierre back near the track. The first inning is over. McGuire gives everybody a rise. Fans out of their seats. The ball into the glove of Juan Pierre. After 1 in the home opener. Venice back to the hill. No score. A lot of red and white shirts heading into the ballpark before today's game. View from above and the view from inside finds a 0-0 score after 1 inning. Ron Gant, who pounded a 3-run home run against the Cardinals in Denver, leads off. Takes the ball. It'll be Gant, then Maine, then Juan Uribe. They just called up from Double-A. They had to put Nafi Perez on the disabled list. He injured his left thumb, making a diving play. 1-0. Gant didn't go. 2 balls, no strikes. Losing Nafi Perez is a problem. He has been a good player for Colorado. Settled in at short and was a tough hitter for Cardinal pitchers out in Denver. That's outside, and it's 3-0.
And he was very aggressive in the first inning, and now he's kind of got back into this breaking ball, pitching on one side of the plate.
If there's anybody to pitch inside, it's Gant.
You're right, Joe. But you kind of negate you want to come in early to Ron Gant because he'll pull off that pitch, so you really bury early in the count where you've got leeway. You can't do it with 3 balls.
Full count now.
There was a slider. His slider much tighter, much sharper today, but just pitching inside has kept a lot of guys from thinking that they could just dive across the plate, which they did in Colorado.
Time called by Matheny.
Yeah, that was Matheny right there, and he had a change of mind right in the middle of Andy's windup. That's not a good idea with that bad knee.
I like it how the home plate umpire always, when when it's called by the catcher, he always points to the catcher. It was him. It was him. It was not me.
Well,
it was your own guy.
He was right.
Rolls one foul outside third.
And I know Mike felt bad about doing it, but there was something there that he had second thoughts. And La Russa very intently watching. You know, he'd love to get out to a lead and just keep the pressure on.
Back inside with a fastball and a leadoff walk. You take a look at the first two series the Cardinals have played this season. Starting in Colorado, and then the road trip ending in Phoenix. And there is a rather large difference between what the Cardinals did at the plate and on the mound in those two series.
Our biggest thing, we did not pitch well there, and we didn't have any timely hitting. In Arizona, boy, the guys like sit there and said, okay, we know the big guys aren't with us, but we're going to go to hacking, and they did. They looked impressive.
Brent Maine now off to a 500 start, 6 out of 12. He takes a strike. I know Larry Walker lodged a complaint when he was called out on strikes in the first, and Jim Edmonds did the same. But it's nice to get back to a game where the home plate umpire is willing to call strikes. The last two games in Phoenix were ridiculous, and both were well over 3 hours in length.
The whole idea of calling the higher strike is to cut down on the time limit. It's not going to stop the offense. It's just to give the pitchers a little bit of a fighting chance and to call what the rule book says.
Maine set up at 0-2. That's too high. 1-2.
That is the benefit of the higher strike, that you'll see a pitcher when he's 0-2, maybe 1-2, they'll try and elevate the ball up above the strike zone to get a guy to chase. You can't hit it.
Bennis issued a leadoff walk to Gant and is 1-2 to Maine. Double play ball. That'll be 6. That'll be 3. That's 2 outs. They don't come any easier than that.
Boy, you know, your coaches in infield practice hit the ball harder than that. But here they are. They are outstanding. They are one of the best combos in all of baseball. And being over there prepared, but it was so close to the bag for Renteria. Why waste an extra throw or underhand toss? Just do it yourself.
Now Uribe takes a strike. I wonder if Juan Uribe will someday change his name.
Jose Uribe.
Right. Then it was just Uribe. And I think when he first came to the Cardinals, he was something altogether different.
Yeah, he was something.
I think like Jimmy Johnson or something.
It wasn't quite that, but it was somebody, and he said there were too many of those guys, and none of us could find any other name in the big leagues of that ilk. They said this kid, he's just 20 years of age. He's the youngest player the Rockies have ever brought to the big leagues. And they like his ability. Even Nefi Perez says that he's the guy that's going to make him become a second baseman.
For the shortstop, Renteria, after a leadoff walk, nothing to it for Bennis. A double play ball off the bat of Maine. Uribe grounds out, and this game goes to the bottom of the second. First Cardinal at bat for Bobby Bonilla when we come back. No score as this game goes to the bottom of the second. Bobby Bonilla will bat and lead it off. Then Langford, then Pujols. Denny Nagel still taking his warm-up tosses. In the first inning, he hit Vigna, got away with it, and around it by getting Renteria, Edmonds, and McGuire. McGuire on a sky-high fly ball out into center, and here is Bobby Bonilla.
Leading off and batting fifth, number 24, right fielder Bobby Bonilla.
Nice ovation for Bonilla. I got to say, I've changed my attitude about having Bonilla around, and he kept stepping into hot water with the Mets, which is easy to do with the kind of media circus that it is up there. But he has been nothing but a pleasure to have around this ball club, and I think very helpful to some of the young guys.
Joe, you see the real Bobby Bonilla this spring, how he is going to be an integral part of this club, and sorely miss the way he crushes left-handers.
Better than a 400 career average against Nagel. He's out in front. Nagel is 0-2 on Bonilla after getting him on that changeup.
Bobby is 11 for 27, 3 home runs and 7 RBIs against Nagel. I've thrown a lot of batting practice to Bobby Bonilla. He's never hit his head with the bat when I throw batting practice. But yesterday he said, I don't need to worry about the fastball. And he's right. But throw me some breaking balls, throw me changeups, because that's what Nagel will give me.
Bonilla gets under it, pops it foul. It's trying to get out of play. Maine gives it a look. Bad break. Just did stay in play, 1 out. Bonilla's gone. The batter will be Langford. Tune in tonight at 6:30 for Midwest Sports Tonight, presented by Verizon. Find out all about the issues, stories, and headlines that affect Midwest's local teams, as well as features on the entire local sports scene. Midwest Sports Tonight, presented by Verizon, tonight at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net. Here's Ray Langford. Good start for Ray. 5th in the league, hitting .467 with 3 home runs.
Joe, it was nice. You know, these fans are always great to everybody, but it was nice to have the fans recognize Ray. Motorcade came around. You know, they obviously McGuire and Edmonds and Ankiel was overwhelming, but Ray Langford probably got the next biggest ovation.
Langford dumps one into left field, a base hit in front of his old friend Ron Gantz. Ray adds to his .467 average, and sooner or later I think you're going to have to realize, and I'm not saying you, but people, and maybe I'm included in it, that Langford has changed some things and it's paying off.
You know what it is, Joe? Very simply, good and bad. His knee is finally healthy. It took him that long to recover from surgery. That's the good news. Bad news is that's exactly what Mark McGuire is experiencing right now. And you pick up a lot of bad habits when you're not healthy, particularly with your back leg. And here just a pitch he fought off and dunks it in front of the left fielder. But those are things he didn't do last year. And his strikeouts are way down in the early going.
How's Mr. Pujols going to introduce himself to this home crowd? 1 on, 1 out. Waits on it, watches it break into the strike zone. Boy, he is so relaxed.
Joey, great point, because you watch how he took that ball. He was looking for something else, and he recognized it early and just, said, I'm not going to swing, but he kept his eye and watched the ball come to the plate.
Boy, Bob Brenly was just glowing about what he saw from Albert Pujols in that series in Phoenix. That's over but low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I told Bob Brenly, I said, you have an outstanding advanced scout, but he watched Pujols in Colorado. He was a different hitter in Arizona.
Among rookies, Shinjo with the Mets, Timo Perez with the Mets, off to good starts, and then there's our guy, Albert Pujols, and our old guy, Jack Wilson, who's with the Pirates. Cardinals traded him last year for Christensen. Albert takes a strike, and he's in the hole 1-2.
Some of these veteran pitchers gave Pujols a little more trouble, but he made some instant and got off to a good start in Arizona, and it kind of carried him right through. But the good thing about him is he can hit well with 2 strikes, and he's got the ability to hit to all fields. So he's not just stubborn, a pull hitter. And a guy like Nagel, that's important.
Langford at first with 1 out. And Pujols unloads and fouls it back and out of play. This guy, when he connects, and we found this out in spring training, and I'm going to include everybody on this list, can hit him about as far as anybody we see. He's not into McGuire's category yet, but he's still maturing. He's only 21 years old.
You're talking about Orlando, right? Against the Braves.
Oh. Game he hit a home run in the 9th inning in Orlando. Doesn't mean anything if I say he hit it over the scoreboard, because most people haven't seen that part. But Eli Marrero had just hit a home run the at bat prior to Albert coming off the bench. It might have been that swing and that home run that cemented his spot on this club. That was Tuesday in the last week of spring training. A 1-2. Well hit into left field. Did he get enough? At the wall. Welcome to St. Louis, Albert Pujols. 2-0 Cardinals.
Joe, you asked me how he's going to start his career in St. Louis. You'd say, well, if it's a storybook, he did a home run, but you don't want to put that much pressure on him. I guess he didn't mind it.
Wow. Think they'll like him around here?
No, I'm not sure. It'll probably take a week or two to get used to him. But look at that pitch right there. It shows you his strength. That wasn't a bad pitch, and he had to muscle that ball. But he has the ability. He muscled that ball out of here in the first of many curtain calls.
Wow. Boy, this is a day of chills, isn't it?
We've already shed a few tears. So
I was choked up watching Ankiel come around. Here's Mike Matheny. Look at McGuire staring him down. What are you doing in my place here? Matheny not happy with that call, 0-2. Sometimes they don't let rookies take curtain calls on opening day. It'd be tough to hold him back in the dugout. I don't know many bodies down there that could keep him in there if he wanted to come out.
Last year when he was the organization minor league player of the year and he came out and accepted his reward, we were so thankful when we saw his size. We were thinking, oh, another 5'9", 175-pounder. 6'3", 230.
McGuire's over there nodding his head, smiling. Placido Polanco, who's really helping Albert become accustomed to life in the big leagues with a shake of the hand, and Matheny a clunker to short. That's Uribe. Good play, 2 out. How about that? First week of play, and Albert Pujols leads this team in RBIs. And who's number 2? Ray Langford.
That's great, because you know the big guys, if they're healthy, they're going to take over the lead. But in order to win, you have to have contribution from all 25.
I don't think there's anybody, maybe with the exception of Albert Pujols, that thought he was going to be on the ball club maybe even the first half of spring training.
Absolutely. I mean, by all rights, you send him down and you say, okay, well, let him have some at-bats, and then for 2 weeks, if the other guys fail, and he's got off to a hot start. But every time they put a challenge to him, not only did he pass it, he usually excelled in it.
The 0-2. 1-2. Yeah, Dave Duncan made a comment to Tony La Russa at the end of spring training. He said, you keep putting this kid everywhere to see if there's some place he can't play, see if he's going to play his way off the team, and he keeps showing you he can do it. Venice down on a knee. He didn't go. And Nagel is yelling at himself. Denny, come back. He didn't strike him out.
I thought the home plate umpire called a strike, and that's what Denny reacted to. That it's a little unusual, but he asked for the appeal, and the umpire said no. Take a look at the pitch. Cutter, and see, there he goes for the appeal, and he thought he was going, you're out.
Now the 2-2. You're free to walk off now, Denny, and you can yell at yourself about that pitch to Albert Pujols. Here's what it looked like. That's what it did. It left the park, and the Cardinals on top by 2. Big Albert Pujols has put the Cardinals on top with a 2-run blast in the bottom of the second from back behind the plate. That pitch up and in, that's 2 times now he's taken a pitch like that up and in and gotten on top of it and ridden it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, the other one was higher out over the plate. This one, Nagel trying to come in on him. Didn't get it far enough in, but he muscled it out of there, and I'm sure Denny Nagel was a little bit surprised and newfound respect.
You know, it's funny that you were talking about Bob Brenly, and you said, I know you guys have a great advanced scout, but what you saw out of Albert Pujols might not be accurate or a real good indication as to what kind of player he is. I was listening to Bob give his pregame interview the second day in there on Saturday, and he said, we've had to change our entire approach with how we're going to pitch this guy. You could see it immediately. So after that first 3-game set, he settled in. They didn't pitch him any better, or he adjusted to it, because all he did was get better as the series went on.
And you know, if you remember, it seemed like the first pitch that they threw to him, they threw up and in, tried to intimidate him. He didn't flinch. The next pitch, he hit the home run.
Here's Denny Nagel, one of the better hitting pitchers in the league. 3 career home runs. 0 for 1 so far this season. And he takes a ball.
Danny Nagel had comparable offers from about 4 clubs, but elected to go to Colorado for a couple reasons.
That's into left. Langford broke back, but he has time. 1 out.
Danny Nagel signed $51 million contract with them. His wife is from the Colorado area, and her father is gravely ill, and that was one of the big reasons. He said, I want to be there. He's maybe the first guy that has a legitimate reason to have a suite. His father-in-law is wheelchair bound, and he wanted him to have the accommodation so he could come to see him pitch.
$51 million didn't hurt either.
Oh, well, I was going to say,
Here's Juan Pierre. Juan with an infield single his first time up. There's no way he didn't offer it that pitch. I guess they said he pulled it back. It's ball 1.
Just hit him in the knee with a bat out there.
Cardinal infielders in on the corners, the 1-0. That's where he wanted to hit it, out in the air, and Renteria, 2 out. Foul ball for the second out. This Schnucks date in Cardinal history. Todd Walker walks to the plate. The Rockies win their first game ever by defeating the Expos in front of over 80,000 fans at Mile High Stadium. What they used to have at the LA Coliseum. How many could they get in there?
Our Coliseum held over 100,000 when it was built for the Olympics and track and field.
I know Cleveland's Municipal Stadium, they could get over 90,000 in there.
I opened the season one time with Kansas City at Municipal Stadium, and they had, had 80,000 there, and the next day they had about 6.
Yeah. Here's Todd Walker with a ground ball to Mark McGuire. That was easy. Away Andy Bennis. After 2.5 innings, the Rockies go in order. They did that maybe once or twice the entire 3-game set out in Denver. Cardinals will have the top of the order. They lead by 2. This game goes into the bottom of the 3rd inning. Top of the order will bat for the Cardinals. Jim Edmonds and La Russa talking it over. Albert Pujols a home run back in the 2nd. Great way for him to start his home career here at Busch Stadium. And as we get ready for this bottom of the 3rd, we welcome to the other headset Brent Stover, who is now the new regional reporter for the Fox Sports News Midwest Regional Report.
That's right.
Is that it?
I believe
Did I get
that's
every
it.
word in there?
I believe you did. I know it's lots of St. Louis sports, and that's what I'm looking for.
Great. Where do you hail from? Where were you before this?
Topeka, Kansas, working local TV at the NBC affiliate there, and of course covered the Royals and the Chiefs and the Jayhawks and the Wildcats, and now I'm going to learn a little bit about Missouri and St. Louis.
Now you are going to be switched to the better side of life. Cardinals, Blues, Rams, Mizzou, St. Louis U. It's not bad.
It's not bad at all. Quite a switch, though. You grow up loving the Royals, and all of a sudden you're in St. Louis, and there's a little bit of hatred there.
Royals were good in '85. Here's a pitch for a strike to Fernando Vina. It's great to have you. I know they're gonna work you hard, Brent. I've been around this organization now for a few years. They're going to work you. You ready to work?
I think I am. Spending the day at the ballpark's not too bad of a job.
No, it's not work. Vina swinging a miss for strike 2. It's a good way to make a living, and I know the guys are excited about having you here. So I know you've been working today already, and I don't know if I'm sure you're going to file stuff for later tonight. I'll be home in the comforts of my West County house, and I'll be watching you on the Regional Sports Report. Vina flies one to center. Juan Pierre back to get it. Brent Stover, thanks for stopping in with us, and welcome to St. Louis and the region.
Thank you very much.
All right. That's Brent Stover. You'll catch him on the Midwest Regional Sports Report, or by whatever title that show may be called now. So 1 out, nobody on, and the batter will be Edgar Renteria. nice guy, Al. He's a nice man.
Well, everybody at Fox is nice.
Okay.
Everybody, right? You found that out.
Every day is a holiday. Renteria dumps one foul down the left field line. Strike one.
He's awful young though.
What's wrong with that?
No, well, you're not young anymore.
I know, but I was when I started.
Yeah, but remember what he said? Oh, I really like it. It's not work at the ballpark. He might change his opinion after a while, right?
That's right. It's not work, though. I feel guilty.
You probably could have got him to say he worked for nothing, too.
Right. 1 out, nobody on, no balls, 1 strike. Edgar Renteria against Denny Nagel. And that should be handled by Larry Walker. 2 out. Jim Edmonds will bat with the bases empty.
You see, very few times will he hit the ball to right field. He really does pull the ball an awful lot. But so many times of those hits, I would say the majority of his 16 home runs were those 76 hits to left, because that's the pitch he pulls.
So 2 out, bases empty for Jim Edmonds. Renteria with his biggest fan.
Okay. You got little fans at home.
Does he?
No.
Ring me a liar. History of the World Part 1 for you. 2 out, nobody on, and Edmonds. Ball 1. Edmonds in a mild discussion. His first time up when he was sent packing by the home plate umpire.
Didn't like to pitch in, so Nagel's going to work him away.
And Edmonds took his hat right off his head. It was buckled on. Nagel has a chin strap on that thing, and it's a good idea because this ball right back up the middle almost took his hat with it.
Now watch his toe, Joe. You can see that left toe, the back foot. When he gets up there and puts that pressure on it, you can see that it's still going to be hurt. But there's the ball right up the middle. You know, the first time up, and I think Denny was guilty of saying, okay, I'm going to throw pitch out here, second pitch out there, and then I'm going to get later on in the count, I'm going to just bust him in like I struck him out the first time looking. But sometimes when you're thinking that far ahead, you never make the 100% concentration on the pitch you're making.
Now McGuire. Usually 2 out hits in front of McGuire turn out to be important.
Anytime you can get him to the plate and with a man on base, he becomes even more dangerous.
Edmonds the runner at first with 2 out, 2-0 in the 3rd inning. McGuire trying to find home run number 555. That was a big swing, a little different swing than we've seen Mark McGuire take, and the count 1-1.
And that is a reflection of the knee. You know, it's a much longer swing. And you think about in Seattle, Oakland, Seattle, and in Colorado, how many balls did you see him hit to right field, or not even be able to put it in play, but fouling to the right side?
Gets under that, pops it up. The wind is pushing that way, and it will drive it out of play. There's a break, 1-2.
I have a feeling in order to try and compensate a little bit and to quicken his bat up, he's going to pull off of a lot more pitches, and probably, so that has a tendency to get you underneath the ball, and even for a pull hitter, it'll make him even more pull conscious. You see Cirillo, he checks to see where he is, because you could go down those steps and still make the catch, and it's called an out. Can't go in, you can dive in the stands and do it, but you can't say, oh, I'm going to go up 4 rows and knock a patron out of the way.
2-2. The fans have to be protected somehow. Some guy hopping over the railing with spikes going up.
That's why we put the bars in front of those blades. Oh, you mean that other, the fans in the stands,
yes.
not the fans in the dugout.
Not Edgar's fan down there. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 2 out. Nagel. Full count. Bonilla next.
Here's big, strong Mark McGuire, pull hitter, and a 3-2 pitch. You throw him a changeup.
Buddy Bates actually took an old pair of Cardinal pants to make those sleeves for McGuire.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Edmonds will go on the inside corner, and McGuire has his say with a home plate umpire. That'll do it. 3rd strikeout for Nagel after 3, 2-0 St. Louis. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Advanced Auto. The best part is our people. By Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete. And by Auto Tire. The right place for the right tire. 4th inning now. Heart of the order for Andy Benes. Albert Pujols with the only swing that's mattered so far. A 2-run home run in the 2nd. Carnes have out hit Colorado 3-1, and Walker, who struck out his first time, takes a strike here. Strike 2.
Tell you what, I like this umpire.
Why not?
Call strikes. These hitters will adjust to it. And Andy Benes looks totally like a different pitcher from his first start in Colorado.
Do the Cardinals go back to Colorado this year, Al?
Unfortunately, yes.
Here comes the 0-2 pitch.
You know, Joe, it's going to be when the weather's warmer, so the ball will travel further.
Well, that's good. Good news. Walker with his average at 500 after his first inning strikeout. It's over but low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Mary Walker healthy for the first time, had his elbow surgically repaired, but he's in great shape.
Rolls that one to second for Vina. 1 away. Dan McLaughlin joins us again, and he's standing by with the commish.
24 seasons now, Joe. Rick Hummel has been the beat writer for the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm sure that you never get sick of this scene, the sea of red, and the great fans that come in for opening day.
Well, it's funny. This is Colorado's first time here at opening day, and the broadcasters and writers were all raving about it. What, you know, one of those Hall of Famers out there, and Musial playing the harmonica, and everything. The convertibles and the fans all in red. It's a great experience for everybody, and for people, you know, we kind of take it for granted, but those people that haven't ever seen it before are really overwhelmed by it.
How about this team in 2001? What do you think about the prospects for the Cardinals?
Well, they looked bad about a week ago, but that series victory in Arizona, when you know, McGuire and Edmonds didn't play, and they still banged out a bunch of hits and runs, and the pitching got better. Andy Benes today, you know, he's bamboozling the Rockies as opposed to what happened last week when they tore him up, really.
Surprised with Rick Ankiel and what he did yesterday?
You can never be surprised at what he's going to do. He might be just as bad next time, but that was sure a big step, I think. I think we're going to have fewer of the bad and more of the good.
Helton pops it up. Joe, take it away.
And Renteria makes the catch. 2 out. That will bring in Jeff Cirillo, who popped up with 2 on, 2 out back in the first.
So remember we showed the graphic of what 3, 4, and 5 did against Andy last time, and this time, you know, he made Walker look bad, tried to pull an outside pitch, little dribbler right there, got inside to Helton, got a pop up on the infield. Let's continue it with Jeff.
Cirillo with a 3.04 average in the first week of the season takes a ball low. Andy Benes better give some innings too, because that Cardinal bullpen was very effective for the most part, but they were worked in Phoenix, and obviously were worked in Denver, although the Cardinals got by with it in Denver, weren't too tired coming into Phoenix yesterday. They emptied the bullpen behind Rick Ankiel. I think Tony La Russa was going to manage that game like the 7th game of the World Series. Just he wanted no doubts that Ankiel was going to get that first win.
Absolutely.
The 2-0 to Cirillo.
And it worked out too. Brought in Beers early, had a little command problems and everything. Matthews continues to pitch well. Klein did what he's been doing all along, what you expect of him. Timlin got the final out. Steck-Schulte's been a nice surprise. And I would think Chad Hutchinson would be the first one out of the gate behind Andy, but right now that's going to be a couple innings away.
3 balls and a strike. Cirillo with 2 out, nobody on. Hits it in the air to center. Edmonds, he can do this in his sleep. Inning over. It has been a wunderbar start here in St. Louis on opening day. Bottom of the 4th inning. It's 2-0 St. Louis. Today's Aflac trivia question: who holds the Cardinals team record for runs batted in by a rookie?
Not him.
There's a future media critic for some newspaper somewhere in this country.
Announcers talk too much.
We should all be so lucky to be fanned during the course of the game. Get a memo together. Let's try to make that happen. He's been doing that for, there we go. He was doing that the entire break between top and bottom half. It can get a little loud here, and Bobby Bonilla hopes to make it even louder as he leads it off in the 4th inning.
Nagel facing his former teammate. Bobby put on the roster today means we had to have lose a player, but John Mabry was put on waivers, and happy to say that the Florida Marlins picked him up, so he'll be going to the big leagues, and we wish him nothing but the best. Good guy.
So he ended up in a good spot.
Yeah.
That's a good young team. They should only get better, and after they traded Mark Kotsay to San Diego, Mabry can fill a role for the Marlins. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1, and that's really all a guy like Mabry can hope for, is to have a decent spring, open up some eyes, and make a big league team.
Absolutely, and he'll be a good influence for those younger players too.
He will be missed here. A 2 ball, 1 strike pitch, a changeup, and Bonilla looked bad. 2-2.
Well, see, that's what he played with Denny Nagel. He knows what Nagel's all about. He's had success. Bobby can turn on anybody's fastball, but when you've been out with a little bit with a leg injury, you lose your timing, and it's really affected by the off-speed pitches.
That's back at Al.
Oh, I got to tell you, I got a new glove from Rawlings.
You did?
Oh, it's got my name on it. I almost brought it here to really get you upset. Don Hodgkins sent me a glove with my name on it. Oh, Rawlings, the best glove in the world.
2-2 pitch. Bonilla tipped it into the glove of Maine. That's 4 strikeouts for Nagel, and the batter will be Langford.
Once again, it's the off-speed pitch. Bobby's timing a little bit off and a little bit out in front.
Langford now with 1 out, nobody on, with Pujols to follow. Ray singled, and then Pujols pounded his 2nd big league home run back in the 2nd, put the Cardinals up by 2. Ray is so much more patient, getting much better looks.
So I like to know my quote I got from Easler about 3 weeks ago in spring training about Ray Langford.
Go ahead.
He's going to surprise people. He's going to answer his critic. He's using his back leg better. The knee surgery. He's healthy, and he just needs to be himself.
Well, you know.
He's off to a great start.
That's the best part, Al. I think that he's made some changes. He's worked hard, and he's had immediate results, so that should make him work even harder. Good for him. 3 balls, no strikes, now 3-1. Everybody who knows Ray likes him, and it was tough to watch him suffer the last couple of years with the strikeouts piling up, and it's wonderful to see him putting the bat on the ball. That's high for a 1-out walk. First walk of the day for Denny Nagel. Casino Queen leaderboard. How does this look to you? National League batting leaders. Polanco. The Cardinals don't even have the Major League's leading hitter in their opening day lineup. That's how good they are. He's hitting .550. Ray Langford is number 3. Larry Walker is number 4. Those are updated for today.
We're going to see another one on that list. Biggio. And Houston comes in on this homestand.
1 on, 1 out. Albert Pujols. Nagel steps off.
You ever seen Nagel worry so much about runners at first?
Absolutely not. I've heard him do his train whistle, though.
408 times. Nagel can imitate the sound of a train whistle. And when he flipped the pitch into Albert Pujols back in the second, this thing was whistled on out of here.
Second major league home run, his first here at Busch Stadium, and his first curtain call. Last few years we've had a home run be pretty dramatic in the outcome of our home opener.
Mr. Paquette last year filling in for Mark McGwire.
Mark hit one to opening day, a grand slam. McGwire did. A few years back, Willie McGee ending that long night with a home run.
Cardinals were 0-6 when McGee hit that home run. A 1-1 to Pujols. 1-2. Well, it's fun to go down to spring training and do the games on radio. You guys only did a couple on television. And try to develop a story with some of these young guys that Cardinal fans will become familiar with. And everybody was speaking so highly of Albert Pujols during the entire spring, and here he is hitting a home run in his first home at bat. Now he hits a double play ball to third. Cirillo to second, on to first. 5-4-3. And that's how Nagel gets around a one-out walk. This game goes to the fifth. It's still 2-0 St. Louis. Today's Aflac Trivia question: who holds the Cardinals team record for RBIs by a rookie? The Aflac Trivia answer is Ray Jablonski back in 1953 with 112. Albert Pujols, the 21-year-old rookie, if he has that kind of a year, they will have the bronze mold for the statue prepared in the offseason.
That's the great thing about Cardinal history is there's been some great names in the past. Will Pujols be the real thing?
He's got a good approach. I mean, you don't worry about him off the field or with the mental side of it. Good pitch from Andy Bennis for a strike to Ron Gant, who walked his first time up.
One of 10 kids. Kind of gets you in perspective.
Oh, yeah. That's foul. Pujols has lived in the western part of the state of Missouri, ironically enough, since he was 16 when he came here with his father.
Yeah. There's a lot of things about him that are so mature. Unbelievable.
Gant wouldn't chase. 1-2. Gant, a big part of the Cardinals' success back in 1996.
Did 30 home runs that year, the first of 3 years with the Redbirds.
2 balls, 2 strikes. In his career against the Cardinals, 18 home runs in 91 games. He hit number 18 back in Denver. Oh, that's a good pitch. A little low, maybe. 3-2.
Been a long career. A lot of people forget that Ronnie Gant came up as a second baseman with Atlanta.
He's a little bigger physically now than he was then.
Oh, you think those biceps were a touch bigger?
A 3-2. Grounded to third. Pujols with a backhanded stab and a perfect throw. Is it that easy, Al?
Yes.
Guy's all whirled in the first week.
But you just watch his mannerism. He's just so relaxed.
Well, for the first out of the inning, we give you today's Pennzoil protection play. Albert Pujols down the line. Who knows what this kept from starting up here in the 5th inning.
But didn't he look relaxed? He got over there. He still backhanded it, but you know he was very much under control. And last year, when he was the minor league player of the year in the Midwest League, he was also voted as the league's best infield throwing arm.
Gary Gaetti was in the spring with the Cardinals, working a lot with Albert Pujols. He said he liked the arm. He needs to work on his accuracy. Nobody was more accurate than Gaetti throughout his career. Every throw was chest high to the first baseman. Gaetti said you're going to like a lot of things about him. He can make the spectacular play. When he becomes a terrific everyday major leaguer, it's when he makes the routine play every time.
Routine play. Forget about the spectacular ones. Just make the routine.
Maine with a base hit into right center field. Can Edmonds cut it off? Bad toe and all. He gets to it. A 1-out single. That's a big play with the 8 and 9 hitters coming up. On Sunday, April 15th, this Sunday, the Cardinals play the Astros. It's SeaWorld Growth Poster Day at the ballpark. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive a life-size growth poster of Fernando Vina, compliments of SeaWorld. That's Sunday, April 15th, when the Cardinals take on the Astros.
Growth poster, and they got Fernando, huh?
They want to give these kids confidence as they're getting bigger. 1 on, 1 out. Just the Cardinals doing their part.
Everybody goes to see Baby Shamu now.
Is there such a thing as Baby Shamu?
Sure. SeaWorld has done a phenomenal job of procreating in
the world of large mammals.
You know, yeah, they always. I mean, the original Shamu and many others have been very productive.
We'll hold the whale talk till maybe the 9th inning. Here in the 5th, it's 1 on, 1 out, no 1-1 count.
Talk about Tom Mee later.
One 2 balls and a strike. See if Venice can get it out here and have Nagel come to the plate. Runner at first is Maine. Andy Venice with a count of 2-1. That'll play in right field as Bonilla goes back to get it. 2 out. 2 away, and Nagel will bat. On the field, they're invincible, but off the field, they're all too human. Fox Sports takes a look at the athletes you thought you knew. This week, Bill Buckner was known as one of the most courageous players of his time, till one moment changed his life forever. Find out about the Bill Buckner you never knew as Beyond the Glory takes you inside the hidden world of sports' biggest stars. Beyond the Glory, Sunday at 8 p.m. on Fox Sports Net.
That's an understatement about Buckner, right? Almost 2,700 hits, and everyone remembers a little dribbler.
It's happened in other sports with other people, and we don't need to bring up the names and bring up the memories of them anymore. But the bad thing is you never get away from it. You know, every time we do a game, these interleague games between the Mets and the Red Sox, you have to show the highlight of that slow roller going through Bill Buckner's legs. Heck, in the World Series we showed it, and the Red Sox weren't even there. Poor guy can't watch any of that stuff without being reminded. Nagel pops it up. Langford coming on. He's there, and that ends the inning. A hit by Maine, 1 left. Andy Venice good through 5. The Rockies have left 3, and after 4.5, the Cardinals lead it 2-0. Well, on Thursday, April 26th, against the Expos, a 12-10 game. It's Rechargeable Battery Recycling Corporation Umbrella Day. The first 25,000 fans 16 and over with a paid admission receive a specially designed Cardinal golf umbrella. Thursday, an afternoon game at 12:10, Cardinals and Montreal. Kid's been in the sun a little too long, but that's why some people bring their glove to the ballpark. They make fantastic pillows. There's your Rawlings glove.
Hey,
you want to kiss up to the Rawlings?
Rawlings is always in action. It's always, you know, in front and behind the scene.
What about the conspiracy with them winding the ball tight? You've given up on that?
Of course not. I won't get into the fact that after the delegation went to Costa Rica and the weather started turning hotter, that the balls stopped flying out as prolific.
Here's a pitch up and in for Matheny.
I'll bring that up.
Matheny bounced out to short his first time up. He's hitting .304. He hit the home run just before Eli Marrero hit a home run yesterday against Randy Johnson. That tied the game. I thought it was fitting that the two catchers hit the home runs to tie the game for Rick Ankiel. And then later in the inning, Albert Pujols, a 2-out, 2-run double into center field.
How about our lineup? Behind Rick, we had two catchers, three third basemen, a little bit of everything. And they went to whacking on Randy Johnson.
Most runs that Johnson had given up since 1994 in the hot zone. The good news is the averages are way up in those hot spots for Mike Matheny. After hitting over 260 last year, he's off to an even better start this year. Matheny trying to give Bennis a chance to bunt. Cincinnati won today over Pittsburgh 8-2. And the Mets pounded on Atlanta 9-4 behind Apier.
Mets trying to get a little revenge, aren't they?
They've taken it to the Braves here in the early part of the season. Here's a 2-2. That's called being jammed. But Matheny stays alive.
Nagel has won at least 15 games in 4 of the past 5 seasons. In the one year he didn't. He had some injuries. He knows how to win.
The 2-2 pitch, base hit. Mike Matheny took one that was up and served it into left. So while Matheny settles in over at first base, we'll remind you tonight it's Totally NASCAR, only on Fox Sports Net. Your exclusive all-access garage pass with 30 minutes of NASCAR news and highlights, plus the latest developments on what's gearing up for this week's race. Totally NASCAR tonight at 6 p.m. only on Fox Sports Net. Well, the NASCAR season is off to a great start.
Fox doing a great job of bringing it to you.
It even got me watching.
I know. I mean,
Bennis going to bunt, takes a ball with the unfortunate, tragic death of Dale Earnhardt. First race at Daytona. The racing world has come front and center. And the NASCAR circuit has had one good race after another from weekend to weekend. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 on, nobody out. And the bunt is fouled.
Andy deadens the ball so well, but just did not have the bat in fair territory.
Bennis looks down at Jose Oquendo, who was looking into the dugout at Tony La Russa. Or somebody else who may be relaying signs.
I don't think you do it with this combination, but we've seen Tony a lot of times switch off and put the hit and run on.
How about yesterday?
And the runners moving, you know, runners moving with a squeeze on with Ankiel and 2 strikes.
And then the day before, back-to-back hit and runs with Darrell Kyle at the plate.
Right. You guys try to use that 9th spot in the order as an offensive weapon. It gives them plenty of hitting time. Nagel, part of that by design, stepping off, seeing what Andy's going to do. You also got the slug bunt, show bunt, and then if they pull back and show to hit.
Runner goes, the bunt's in the air, and that's strike 2. So there's the run and bunt.
I wonder how much the knee kind of affects Andy in going down on a ball.
Definitely affected his swing when he tried to check his swing last time up in the second. He had to kind of give with it. take pressure off his right knee. He had surgery on that knee over the offseason.
The problem is on the outside, he has very little cartilage left, and so it just cuts down his mobility.
On 1-2, the bunt in the air, it's foul, and Venice is gone. Andy won't be too pleased with that. It's a runner at first, 1 out. Strikeout is the 5th for Nagel. Vina hit by a pitch in the first. He fly to center in the third. He faces Nagel for the 3rd time today, who's pitching better today than he did in his first start of the year against the Cardinals out in Denver. But he and the Rockies got the win. Defensively, they play Vina to go the other way. And they're in on the corners of the infield. Pitch out, trying to sniff out a hit and run, and Matheny was stuck at first.
Vina's hot zone. We saw in that 5-for-5 performance Friday night where he goes up and gets a lot of balls up that he will just lob serve back into the over the infield.
Trying to wait on it, couldn't, and that foul will be handled by Cirillo. 2 out.
Well, the one thing about the Rockies, they play good defense behind their pitchers. Saw that particularly with Cirillo in game 1 when Hampton served up so many ground balls. But that is a real asset for these pitchers. They shouldn't be afraid to let guys hit the ball because they play good D.
So Renteria now with Matheny at first and 2 out. One of the big reasons why people scratched their head when Nagel signed with the Colorado Rockies was this ground ball to fly out ratio, more fly ball outs than ground ball outs in his career.
And he allowed 31 home runs last year. The difference is his big pitch is a changeup, and a changeup is still effective in Coors Field. It's the breaking pitch, the curveball, the slider that the light air really affects.
Strike 2 on Renteria.
I guess a lot of his fly ball outs is, you know, where he has guys off balance. They're out on their front foot and they just lift the ball up. But if he makes a mistake, he can serve him up there also.
Signals on your left as Nagel works home an 0-2 to Renteria.
Fastball away. Good pitch. Renteria doesn't offer at it. Didn't want the fastball in. Looks like he wants the slider, the slurve.
And Renteria stays alive. Edgar's fly to center, fly to right. Nagel with an important effort here with Jim Edmonds waiting on deck. Edmonds has owned Nagel in his career. See if Edgar can keep this 5th inning alive. The Cardinals are up 2-0. They've out hit Colorado 4-2. Cirillo, inning over. Cardinals get a leadoff hit from Matheny. He is stranded. Cards have left 3, and after 5, big inning for Andy Venice coming up. Top of the order will bat for Colorado. They trail the Cardinals by 2.
Played 5. The Cardinals, with a 2-run home run by Pujols, lead the Rockies 2-0. Coming up tonight, it's the Midwest Sports Report. It's 30 minutes of nightly sports news completely dedicated to the home teams throughout the Midwest. For extended regional highlights and in-depth interviews, catch the Midwest Sports Report tonight at 10 p.m. only on Fox Sports Net. Jimmy Hayes all around Busch Stadium. Blues and Sharks rematch, and the Rams court. Now they're courting. Joe, who are the Rams courting?
Who are the Rams courting?
Yes.
Samari Roll.
Oh, yeah, I should have known that.
The cornerback from the Titans. I think he's 24. He's a stud. If they get him. You're talking to that linebacker from New Orleans, Mark Fields. Their defense will improve dramatically.
Need a little bit of improvement there.
Oof. Here's John Pete. Ball one low and away. This guy's a pretty good little player for Colorado, off to a 357 start, 375 after his first inning single. Talked about how they changed their approach with how they put this team together. Dan O'Dowd, the general manager, moved a lot of pieces around with an emphasis on defense, on speed in the outfield. Such a big outfield. Took a little bit of the power away. But in that ballpark, you don't need guys that are going to pound the baseball. Guys are going to hit home runs. You don't have to worry about that.
You know, Buddy Bell was hurt, so they only had to, I mean, Buddy Bell, the manager, had Walker hurt last year. So Todd Helton was the only Rocky to have more than 20 home runs. Now, he had a monster season, but the team batting last year was the league's best at 294. They were best in run production with 968 runs, and they led the National League in hits. So it paid off.
And his kid is one of our favorites, David Bell.
We saw David, and his son Mike had surgery.
2-2. Renteria. Good play on a tricky little hop. 1 out. Yeah, Mike Bell, Buddy Bell's son and David's brother, broke his forearm on a play at first base, and he's lost for months.
Little slap hitter. His greatest speed asset is that running speed.
Boy, did you see him get out of the box?
Yeah, he was real quick.
Like Babe Ruth. Those short, choppy steps and quick action. Here's Todd Walker. I was a little surprised. It's easy to say now, but I was a little surprised that they had Todd Walker bunting in the first inning. After a leadoff hit, the guy's hitting 400. He pounded Cardinal pitching in Denver, and they took the bat out of his hands. And Andy Bennis got around that leadoff hit by Pierre. Here's a 0-2.
And Joe, especially since I tell you Todd Walker come in with a 333 average. It was just 1 for 3, but it's still 1 for 3 against Andy Bennis, and had him drop down.
A 1-2 pitch.
Larry Walker, the on-deck hitter, also had a 333 average against Andy, but
3 more attempts.
Yeah. 77 pitches.
Over but low. Full count.
Andy now 34 balls of his 78 pitches.
That's no good. 0-2 on Todd Walker, and he loses him with Larry Walker coming up. Bad time for the third walk from Andy Bennis. What's on Tap is brought to you by Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. Rockies and Cardinals Wednesday, Fox Sports Net, 6:30. Cardinals tonight with Dan McLaughlin and Al Robosky and Mike Shannon. Shades and all. He looked good down.
What happened to Island Mike, though?
Jamaica Mike with the Hawaiian shirt he was wearing?
Last year, you know.
Well, we talked coming in about the heart of the lineup. It was our key matchup. And here's part of it. Larry Walker. He's the tying run at the plate. And up and in with ball one. What has the heart of the order done against the Cardinals this year? And these numbers have changed since the beginning because of their efforts today. Still not bad, but the heart of their order.
0 for 5 today.
Oh, don't say it. I knew you were going to say
0 for 5 with a walk.
Put it out there.
Well, he's going to get a double play ball.
Okay. 1 ball, 1 strike.
See the bullpen stirring around a little bit. Nobody throwing yet, but
it's about that time.
Yeah, it's about that time.
I think it's just a natural instinct now for bullpenners when the 6th inning rolls in. Start moving around. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, 1 out. Walker hits it in the air to right. He broke his bat. Is it enough? It's gone. He broke his bat and he hit a home run. The bat shattered in his hands and he hits a ball up into the seats in right field. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, look at Pena looks to check and see if there's any cork or anything. No, he's big and strong. He's hired a chef and a nutritionist to try and cut down his body fat, and he's really happy the way he's feeling right now. And when Larry Walker is healthy, he's one of the best players in the game. Tony Batista hit one to dead center field breaking his bat and had about 6 inches of handle in his hand and hit it 450 feet. This one not as impressive as that, but it still got to the second deck and it's a home run and ties the score 2-all. You're still in low shock, aren't you?
I can't believe that. How is that possible? Oh, and 2.
Steck Schulte has now started to throw.
Here's Helt. Still 0-2. Well, Andy Benes, I think, will be less upset with the home run than he will be with what he did with Todd Walker. He had him 0-2 and he walked him. And then Larry Walker ties the game with a home run into right. Oh, goodness, that hit Tony La Russa. He tried to catch it with his hat. I think it caught Tony around the face. Unless I'm seeing things and I missed it. Helton spoils that pitch.
Tony with that ball that went into the dugout. Several times we saw him snag ground balls. Well, they put that net up there to protect everybody else other than Tony, but he wants to pace back and forth in that area where the balls can get into.
Again, the 0-2 to Helton. Good pitch. 2 out.
That was a battle with stiff necks. Before opening day, Todd Helton strained his neck fielding ground balls, but he went off to have a great day. Andy Benes a couple days ago started feeling a stiff neck coming on, and he's been keeping hot packs on it, but maybe that's the key. Sometimes if you got a little bit of an ailment, you concentrate more.
Two out, nobody on. Here's Cirillo, and there's strike 1. Broken bat, home run and all if Andy can get through 6 innings against this Colorado team and allow 2 runs. He's had a very good day. And he has worked the inside part of the plate a lot more today than he did in the second game of the season.
Absolutely, Joe. And today he's pitched. And if Andy Benes pitches, then he can win some games for you, and he'll win some big ones. Built both sides of the plates, changed speeds. His breaking ball has been much tighter.
In his career, the number's not too good as the innings per
digress. That's fouled. Does Matheny have a play? Yes, he does. There's a break for the Cardinals. Cirillo's yelling about it. And Venice gives up a walk and a homer. Well, you knew it wasn't going to end 2-0. After 5.5 innings, we're tied 2-2. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it, and by your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealer, the official automotive sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals on Fox Sports Net. About as American as you can get. Dog, ball game, red shirt, skip school, skip work. Maybe we can make the spring break excuse for that kid, although most of them are over. Bottom of the 6th inning, a 2-2 game now. Denny Nagel has pitched well. See what Edmonds, McGuire, and Bonilla have in store for him here in the 6th. Edmonds a hit and a strikeout. Out in front, and that hurt a little bit as Edmonds was off balance. Jim Edmonds, where does he hit his home runs? For a while last year, he was frustrated because Allie wasn't pulling the ball. It wasn't the highlight show home runs.
Yeah, but we saw him hit 15 to left field. That ought to tell him that just keep on doing what he did. You know, he could crush some balls the upper deck if he pulls it, but he still has the power to take that outside pitch and drive it over the left field wall.
2 balls and a strike now.
He put on a show last Wednesday in Colorado. Became the first player to hit 2 upper deck bombs.
He pops it up here, and that'll stay in play. Cirillo, 1 out.
So that's kind of the deceiving thing about fly ball outs. That's classified as a fly ball out, but it's, you know, it's a pitcher. The pitcher did the job. Tell you, look at that. See, when he swings right there, and he puts all the weight on the top or the ball, the foot, and the toe, and that's where it really hurts because it's right up on top of that left toe.
Here's Big Mac. Fly the ball to deep center his first time. Struck out looking his next, and he takes a strike from Nagel here, and Denny Nagel has done a good job for these Rockies here today.
He's a real gamer. He's a battler. These batters go up there, and they know they're in a war. It's a comfortable 0 for 3 or 0 for 4.
Off the end of the bat, strike 2.
Keel came around in the motorcade and had that video camera working, and still is.
Here's the 0-2. McGuire pops it into left field. Gant in the corner. 2 out. Big Mac has just missed 2. And Rick, we hate to tell you this, but you cannot sell or do anything with this broadcast that we're doing, pal. You can do what you want on your own. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated. That's exactly what that Ankiel kid's doing. He's disseminating right now without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's Bonilla with 2 out, nobody on. I don't even know what disseminate means.
There was a word that was in the newspaper today that Edmonds says, what does that mean? Boy, that was really a heady conversation, wasn't it?
A 1-0 pitch, 2-0.
The scary thing is I knew what the word was and he didn't.
That is frightening. A total of 7 hits, a total of 4 runs. Everything's been about split down the middle. Each side has a 2-run homer, a 2-2 game. A 2-0 to Bonilla, 3-0.
Well, I have a feeling that may not happen this at bat because Nagel's fallen behind 3-0. But He's made Bobby look pretty bad, and you see Bobby tapping his back leg. Say, keep the weight back.
Fastball in for strike one.
And Bobby, I think, is going to get one of these mistakes from Nagel. Switch hitter, and he showed a lot of promise swinging left-handed, but last year he hit about 360 batting right-handed.
Reaching for that. It's a full count. Bonilla has been inactive for the better part of
2 weeks.
Yeah, the last week of spring training, the first week of the season, so he's still trying to feel for it a little bit. The jitters of opening day, new crowd, and he stays alive. The count 3-2.
I just got a feeling that he's going to, now that he's fought off a couple pitches, Nagel doesn't want to walk the leadoff man. He might make a mistake to him.
Up and out of the zone, a 2-out walk, and Langford will bat. Bonilla able to lay off that pitch.
Second walk, but that was good because he got to see a lot of pitches there and had better swings and at bats, fouled off the pitches that he couldn't hit.
Your predictions stink, by the way. You know that? Walker's going to ground into a double play. Boom, home run.
And that was only because we revisited. So you want me to really doom us and say, oh no, I'll do it this way and help us out. If we really revisit, remember he hit 3 home runs here one game, Larry Walker.
There you go.
So that'll mean he can't hit anymore.
1 on, 2 out. Ray Langford with his 3 home runs.
Game's not over. Bonilla walked, remember?
Okay. Ball 1. Slugging percentage in the National League. Ray Langford out in front of Larry Walker. And Nevin, Grzelcyk, and Luis Gonzalez. Grzelcyk off to a good start for the Dodgers. Productive second baseman. Langford has singled and walked. 2-0. He's looking to crush a pitch.
Both these guys have had to battle injuries, and right now they're both healthy, and both of them showing what tremendous players they are.
Both have had bad knees. I remember seeing Walker at AAA for Indianapolis in the Expo system wearing a big knee brace.
And Larry just had his elbow surgically repaired.
The 2-0 in for a strike, and it's 2-1.
Ray Langford looking for something hard, and Nagel throws a changeup and left it in a very bad spot. I want to keep that ball down and away, and he kind of let it drift in the inner half of the plate. And off-speed pitches, that's usually what Ray crushes.
3-1. Could hear somebody yell, "Watch out!" That pitch up and in. I don't know if it was Nagel or not. It wasn't Ray, and the count 3-1 up to 107 pitches on the afternoon for Denny Nagel.
Wasden, right-hander, throwing in the bullpen.
3-1 pitch. Will he crush it? A high strike. Ray really hasn't gotten used to that pitch yet. The count 3-2. It's not his forte anyway. He has seen a lot of high strikes called against him in the first week.
It's another off-speed pitch. And another sign. The first thing that goes on a pitcher is your legs. And one way to kind of tell that is if the pitch is up. You don't want to throw off-speed pitches up.
Runner Bonilla will go at first. The 3-2 pitch to Ray Langford. Chased it, inning over. A walk, a man left. Cards have left 4, and after 6 on opening day, St. Louis style, it's 2-2. Cardinals take the field as this game goes to the 7th inning, a 2-2 score. Kids, on Saturday, April 14th, the Cardinals take on the Astros. This Saturday, it's Coca-Cola Shop and Save T-shirt day and Nabisco Kids opening day. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive a T-shirt featuring Rick Ankiel, Edgar Renteria, Fernando Vina, and J.D. Drew. Compliments of Coca-Cola and Shop and Save. There's also an opening day designed just for kids. games and festivities in the Southwest Airlines Family Pavilion, courtesy of Nabisco. It's this Saturday, 1:10 game. Cardinals in Houston, their biggest competition, you would think, in the NL Central this year. Albert Pujols will switch positions and go to right. Bobby Bonilla is out of the lineup. Oh, rather, Bonilla moved to first base, and McGuire is the one that's out of the lineup. McGuire went out to his position and then switched late with Bonilla, and Paquette is in the game at third base. So keep Bonilla in the game. McGuire, and they're only going to get 6 innings out of McGuire. Mark was quoted as saying, and I did a pregame interview with him yesterday in Phoenix, he said, as the games wear on, it tends to get more and more sore, so maybe they're only going to go 6 innings with him at a time until his knee is a little healthier. Meanwhile, Edmonds isn't moving around well in center either. Steckschulte takes over on the mound for Andy Bennis.
Caring for his 3rd time. He's only been touched by a home run in Arizona, but he has shown signs of being much better. And you were remarking earlier about how much bigger he is. He went home in the offseason and really worked out in his upper body. He was a tall, lanky guy, but now he's starting to fill out.
He's always had that big lower half, which is great for a pitcher. Good foundation. And his first pitch is in for a strike to Ron Gant. Gant, then Maine, then Juan Uribe. The 6, 7, 8 hitters. If anybody gets on, probably a pinch hitter for Nagel. That's foul. Strike 2. I didn't think it was possible, but talking about working out over the offseason, Gant looks even bigger than he was last year.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the Rockies coaches, Fred Kendall, and he said that he felt he's a lot bigger than he is last year, particularly in the biceps and upper body.
Ooh, pretty good pitch. 1 and 2.
Boy, the difference with Steckschulte, he's attacking hitters now. He looked like he lost a little chink in his armor after he gave up the home run yesterday, but he's much more aggressive.
I think Gene just got ticked. I think he got tired of getting sent out. He was up and down last year. He had a decent spring, a bad final effort, and he was shipped out. And he blows away Gant, 1 out. I think he finally said, you know what? Forget it all. I'm going to show him what I can do. And he is, as you say, I see the same thing. He's attacking these guys. Today's advanced auto division standings looking better as the days go by, with the Cardinals now 1 out. At one point they were 3 out. Houston lost 2 of 3 over the weekend at home to Pittsburgh. Houston is off today, by the way, and they will be in Milwaukee next. Cubs are 3 and 3. Maine with a ground ball to Vigna. 2 out. So Bonilla is at first, just to repeat. McGuire is gone for the rest of the day. Paquette is at third, and Pujols is in right. Tony La Russa's got some pieces that he can move around. He's got a lot of guys that play a number of positions.
And he has to if they're going to carry 12 pitchers.
Pujols was an infielder and predominantly a third baseman. As a kid, and last year in the minor leagues, as Steckschulte pours one in for a strike. But he's handled himself pretty well in the outfield.
And not only that, but we saw him play shortstop in spring training.
And do very well there.
Which he said, I've played in college.
Don't look now, but Gene Steckschulte is turning into a weapon here out of the bullpen.
Well, he was outstanding at AAA. He came up here last year a little bit shy, got in trouble with control. But now, as we talk, he's pitching very aggressively, and he's just attacking hitters.
94 with that last pitch, and you can say, well, the gun's fast, whatever. But if you compare that to the other pitches we've seen on the day, Bennis was around 86, 87. Steckschulte's at 94.
And not only that, but because he's tall and lanky, the way he releases the ball, he's tough on these right-handers.
Drops down a little bit there. Bonilla makes the flip. Tough play, and Steckschulte beat Uribe to the bag. Good work by the young right-hander. Put out 3-1. It's time to stretch on opening day. Bottom of the 7th, still tied at 2. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. More and more people depend on Dobbs. by Steak and Shake, famous for our steak burgers. That's their slogan, not mine. I do not cook very good steak burgers, not anywhere near in the category of Steak and Shake. Big crowd, packed in, standing room only, and they've seen a good one. A 2-2 score, and the new pitcher is John Wasden, long time with the Boston Red Sox. He will work to Pujols and Matheny, the first two hitters.
Sustained the bullpen's first 2001 blown save, allowing a home run to Phil Nevin. Pujols doesn't know about Wasden, but Tony La Russa and Duncan do. He was drafted in the first round in the '93 June draft by Oakland.
Albert Pujols did that in the second inning. The more you look at that, the more amazing it is that it jumped out of here the way it did. Up and in. Didn't get his arms all that extended, but he is strong, and he got a curtain call after his first home at bat.
This is a very, very mature 21-year-old, and he just turned 21 in January.
Up there ready to swing, and he came up empty. Cardinals have Paquette batting in the number 9 spot, so there was a double switch. The pitcher's batting in the spot vacated by McGuire. Two. Sure, the Cardinals would love to go through this game and not have to use Steve Klein. Worked 3 days in a row. Pujols grounds to third. Cirillo with a backhand. He's good. 1 out. Cardinals have Matthews available down there. Steckschulte will get another inning. We're in the 7th, tied 2-2, and Mike Matheny walks to the plate, 1 out of 2.
Knowing Steve Klein, he's chomping at the bit to get in the game.
Oh yeah. I'm sure this is a different experience for him as opposed to opening days up in Montreal.
Well, at least those guys, you know, they said they were looking forward to it because as a visiting player, they enjoyed themselves coming to Busch Stadium.
We opened with the Expos a couple of times recently.
Yeah.
1 out, nobody on, and Matheny, like the final scene in Major League, tries to drop down a bunt. But he fouled it. Strike 1. Matheny homered yesterday. He homered once in Colorado. A riding pitch that's called a strike over the inside corner. It's 0-2. One and two. Matheny a single into left field his last time up. Paquette next, 7th inning, and a fly ball into right for Larry Walker. 2 out. On the field they're invincible, but off the field they're all too human. Fox Sports takes a look at the athletes you thought you knew. This week Bill Buckner was known as one of the most courageous players of his time until one nightmarish moment changed his life forever. Find out about the Bill Buckner you never knew as Beyond the Glory takes you inside the hidden world of sports' biggest stars. Beyond the Glory, Sunday at 8 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. 2 out, nothing doing for the Cardinals at the moment as Paquette stands in. An opening day home run a year ago. That was against the Cubs. Breaking ball stays up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Kind of a backdoor breaking ball, didn't come down through it. good slider there. Not really a sinker slider pitcher. A year ago, filling in for the injured Mark McGuire. Opening day, there's a hanging slider. Cubs pitchers throw a lot of those, and Paquette was the hero, but not today.
Didn't work here as he's called out on a pitch over the inside corner, and this home plate umpire has had guys talking to him all day. We go to the 8th, still tied at 2. A good one on the home opener, 2-2 in the 8th inning. I'll tell you that on Friday, Cardinals take on the Astros. It's Busch Magnet schedule night at the ballpark. All fans 21 and over receive a magnet featuring the 2001 Cardinal baseball schedule, courtesy of Busch Beer. This Friday, Cardinals and Astros. Here's a little Edmonds fan. Fun at the old ballpark. Dex Schulte, a quick 7th inning, will face Greg Norton as a pinch hitter to lead it off, batting for Wasden, and he takes a ball low. Norton, then Juan Pierre, then Todd Walker. The big guns will bat again for the Rockies. We are assured of that.
Norton still looking for his first hit against the Cardinals. We'll keep on dooming us, huh? So I am a little bit with the White Sox the last couple of years.
2 out of 4 in the young season is Greg Norton. 2-0 pitch. Cardinals have out-hit Colorado 4-3. That's a little up and away, 3-1. You talk about a different feel to a game compared to the first 3 of the season. You can't get any farther to the other end of the spectrum.
Absolutely. And, you know, their swagger leaves them when they leave Coors Field.
Now the umpire tightens up his strike zone and a leadoff walk. Cardinals not happy with that call.
It just seemed like he's been very consistently calling close pitches always strikes, and I think Tony's reacting right there and say, come on, that's been a strike all day. Now going to do a double switch and bring in Joe's favorite left-handed reliever, Steve Klein. Polanco will go to third base.
Well, Steve Klein won't pitch tomorrow. It's an off day. This guy not only has Klein worked 3 games in a row, but with the exception of yesterday, it's been for more than 1 inning at a time. Klein is ready to make his home debut. He will pitch with a man at first, nobody out, the top of the order coming up. This is the home of the 2000 Central Division champions. Team that beat the Atlanta Braves in the division series. This Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports and is an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. Cardinals trying to take that next step. First they have to get to the postseason, then they'll be thinking getting to the LCS and the World Series. Polanco takes over at third. He'll bat 4th, and Steve Klein is pitching for the 4th day in a row.
5th time overall, and very effective. Really has a tremendous slider that he can get and retire the left-handed batters, but very durable in the sense 82 games pitched 2 years ago, 83 last year. Both of them led the National League in appearances. He's told Dave Duncan, hey, I can pitch 8 or 9 days in a row. The more I pitch, the more effective I am. Duncan said, well, that's great, but we hope we never use you that much. And yet here we are in playing our 7th game, and he's appearing for the 5th time.
He came on to get 1 out in yesterday's game. 1 pitch he threw, and he got Luis Gonzalez.
You know, Joe, that we know Klein is going to be the primary left-hander of the pen. Matthews has been an outstanding and been a pleasant surprise. And Tony is now salivating, thinking about getting Christensen, and I'm saying he's going to keep 3 lefties.
1 on, nobody out, and a strike is into Pierre as he was bailing out of there.
How many times have we seen a guy with phenomenal speed and a guy that practices drag bunting, but when asked to sacrifice, they really struggle?
The 0-1 to Pierre. That's a perfect punt, and it's going to take a good play from Klein to get him. Good play, 1 out. You know from experience how hard to play that was with Pierre. His speed going down the line, Klein had to throw it around him.
And a lot of times the left-hander will fall naturally to the third base side of the mound, so he drops down an absolutely perfect bunt. Good form, good technique. He's got great running speed. You know, a third baseman has to come in and field it, and then he turns his back. He's got his back there, and then he has to spin and make a throw. And Klein picked up Bonilla at first, but they have the go-ahead run out at second.
That's Mark Little running for Norton. He's at second with 1 out, and batting for Walker, Todd Walker, is Terry Shumpert. Good fastball for a strike. Shumpert, a utility player in his 12th season, .252 career average.
From Paducah, Kentucky, so he remembers coming up to Busch Stadium, see the Cardinals play, and then Mark Little is from across the river in Illinois, and we had him for a little bit, so part of the Tatis trade.
Good pitch in on Shumpert, 0-2. Shadow starting to creep across the field with a different starting time of 2:10.
Seems like early in the season and late in the season, shadows become a factor during day games.
Here's an 0-2. Oh, he made Shumpert look terrible. 2 out.
So that's the real benefit of Steve Klein, is you don't have to just use him to retire left-handed batters. He's got enough weapons, and he's a gamer, and he'll go out there. You can understand why one of his high school buddies said, "I want you to help me with the wrestling team." He was coaching high school wrestling. He never wrestled at all, but there you see, that's pretty good when you retire righties at 250, and that'll probably improve, but lefties he can dominate.
Be careful here, but you can't be too careful. Todd Helton waits on deck. Pick your poison. Runner at second, 2 out, and that's just up and in. Walker almost walked right into it.
Steve Klein feels like he knows or has a pretty good idea of what Walker likes and what he doesn't like. Now the whole key is, can you hit those spots? He wants to pitch him inside. That's what he feels, that Larry Walker does not like the ball in. Now he's kind of laughing at the home plate umpire. But this umpire has been consistent, hasn't he?
I don't think there's any doubt. I think the Cardinals complained about that opening walk in this inning to Norton. It was a so-so pitch. This guy's been calling strikes, and this game has moved right along.
It's called the inside pitch, strikes.
1-1. Strike 2. All you need is half a bat if you're Larry Walker to hit a home run to tie a game in the 6th inning.
Look where the pitch is. Out of way where he got the extension. It shatters the bat, but he's strong. Andy may not think he's that strong, but Larry is one of the best. But after pitching a couple balls inside, he made him look bad on that breaking ball away.
Here's the 1-2. Walker strikes out. How about Steve Klein, folks? He shouts out as he heads off the field. How's that trade looking? I like him. He's a keeper. Still 2-2.
His Pizza Hut perfect delivery is that big strikeout to end the 7th inning for Steve Klein. Had Larry Walker a couple fastballs inside, got him off the plate, a breaking ball, and then he comes back with another one. And this guy's a keeper. And very emotional. He's a guy that I've had a lot of fun with already in the early going. Lost 40 pounds over the winter with his wrestling and basketball. But he told me, he said, you know, in the late night eating, he said, I'll gain it all back. But he's a fun guy, tough competitor, and that's a trade that's going to benefit both teams. Not only Hermanson, but we get Steve Klein, and he's already appeared in 5 games. Their answer to Steve Klein is Gabe White. Boy, he was tough. This guy can very versatile for the Rockies, and he can do a lot of things. He can even spot start.
He was sensational last year.
Absolutely.
His numbers are fantastic. 11-2 with a 2.17 ERA at Coors Field.
And 5 saves also, but he was sort of a setup guy to Jimenez or even the lefty specialist Mike Myers.
Ball 1 to Vina leading off in the 8th, and that's in the air to center. Back is Pierre. 1 out. Vina hitless on the day, and the batter will be Renteria. Edgar walks to the plate with 2 home runs. He has 2. Edmonds has 2. Pujols has 2. Langford has 3. Matheny has 2 as well. Cardinals as a team have hit 14 as they play in their 7th game. Renteria is 0 for 3. Fly to center, fly to right, bounced into a force out.
Sometimes guys that are not accustomed to hitting the ball over the fence, it can be the kiss of death when they do get a couple early ones. Then they forget about situational hitting or trying to hit the ball to all fields.
In for a strike. It's 1-2. I think if this guy stays healthy, you can mark him down as a 20 home run shortstop.
Absolutely. He is. You don't realize how strong he is until you walk up and grab those biceps. And he's just starting to fill out that body.
Renteria strikes out, 2 gone, and now Edmonds walks in. With 2 out, nobody on.
Gabe White going right after. He's got a lot of variety of breaking balls. He's got a pretty good fastball. And Edgar missed the off-speed pitch.
Boy, the Reds just gave him up. Last year, he had pitched well for Cincinnati. Manny
Ibar, who was traded again last season and again this season.
He's now a Cub. 2 out, nobody on for Edmonds. Over but low. Edmonds has a hit today. He has appeared hobbled by that left big toe injury. He's got another hit. He's on at first with 2 out, and Polanco will bat. Makes a difference, though, without McGuire behind Edmonds. And now, even if Polanco shoots the gap, Edmonds might be hard pressed to score from first.
Well, we've been saying all the time about we want to get Polanco batting 4th. But here's the high ball. He likes the ball up, and he can turn on it. Traditionally, you think of most left-handers being low ball hitters. But he likes the ball up there, and he can handle it. You can get him to chase if you get up there even higher.
Polanco's first at bat.
He's a leading hitter in the major leagues. Why shouldn't he bat wherever he wants?
Runners on, a .571 average. .550 is his average overall. Gabe White gets it in there in the low 90s. Another look at the shadows as they make their way over the diamond here in the 8th inning. 1 on, 2 out. Polanco trying to supply a little opening day magic, takes a ball. Cardinals will get Timlin loose. Klein will probably have one more hitter, with Helton due to lead off in the top of the 9th. Polanco on 1-1. Strike 2.
Joe, how about if we told you Polanco with 2 strikes is 5 for 9, a .556 average.
You can see the difference there in the natural light here at the ballpark. The lights are not on. Polanco standing in the shade and trying to pick up a baseball coming out of the sunlight. Here he is with his 2 strikes. And he's gone. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for the left-hander Gabe White. Klein will head back to the hill. 1 hit, 1 left. Time for the 9th. Tied at 2. Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Budweiser, who salutes America's designated drivers. We all make a difference. And by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom. 30 years, 1 mission, low fares. Todd Helton will lead off against Steve Klein, who's back for more action. Cirillo and Gant to follow, so this might be the last hitter for Klein. Helton 0 for 2 with a walk, and he takes. Ooh, where was that?
Where was that? Yeah, this will be the last batter for Klein. You do have 1 left-hander on their bench, but you aren't going to save Klein for him.
He's making some good left-handed batters look pretty weak with these swings.
Well, that's what he knows his job is, and it's a thankless job because some of the best hitters in this league are all batting from the left side.
A 1-1. Strike 2. All it takes is, the margin for error is so slim in this day and age of being a specialty type pitcher. Klein has a season's worth of facing Helton and Walker and Bonds and Griffey.
Burnett's.
A 1-2. A weak swing. Renteria laid back. Makes the play. 1 out. Big threat is gone, and likely so is Steve Klein.
And they're asking Tony, looking at the bullpen, and says, "You ready?" Yeah, Timlin's ready, so you'll see.
Very intricate and highly technical system that they have to find out if somebody's ready in the bullpen.
Lift your hat off your head and get the return signal from the bullpen coach.
Well, as Klein returns to the dugout, I know this Cardinal crowd will appreciate his effort and make him feel welcome, wearing the birds on the bat here at home for the first time. What a job by this guy. Out of way, Steve Klein. It's Timlin's turn in the 9th. Well, we're still in the top of the 9th inning, and Steve Klein, he will sleep well tonight. He was perfect in his Busch Stadium debut as a Cardinal. He went an inning and a third, made a good play on a bunt, struck out Shumpert and Larry Walker, and he gets Helton on a weak ground ball to the left side to start the 9th.
You don't get any better than that, and then you just hope that Mike Timlin will feed off of that good pitching. Steck Schulte was good. Klein was better, and Mike Timlin picked up the Cardinals' first save of the year yesterday. He got the final out of the game. This guy has 112 saves, so Buddy Bell remembers him when he was pitching in the closer with Toronto. And Buddy Bell's saying, why can't they hit it away from Coors Field the way they do there?
Take a look at this crowd one more time as we play in the 9th inning, and most are still here. Those with night jobs probably left. But it is still packed, and Jeff Cirillo would like to disappoint him with something here in the 9th inning. Cirillo's 0 for 3 today. And it's even more difficult now as home plate is engulfed in the shadows, and Timlin's pitching out of the bright sunlight. Timlin's hard enough. He just needs to throw strikes, and he does with his first pitch here in the 9th inning, a breaking ball.
So I think Timlin was one of the biggest surprises. And here's a veteran guy, been around 11 years in the big leagues, but I think he's really developing into an even better pitcher.
There's some heat for Cirillo. 93 miles per hour, and the count 0-2.
He's got nasty stuff, but in many ways, he was still a thrower. And I think they're starting to get him to become a pitcher and finishing off hitters. Not just throwing it by him, but making good 0-2 pitches.
Well, Dave Duncan is so good with that aspect of his job. The 0-2 pitch, breaking ball, and Cirillo spoiled it. And when I say that, I mean taking a veteran and turning somebody like Mike Timlin or Dustin Hermanson or Darryl Kyle or Andy Bennis into a better pitcher than they were before he got a hold of them.
Yeah, maybe go back to even talking about his success with Stottlemyre, Dave Stewart, Mike Moore, guys like that.
Welch.
Bobby Welch, you know, and really get in their heads and really get them to believe in themselves again.
It's backing out of play. It stays 0-2 on Cirillo.
We've got to say, with yesterday's results, maybe he's starting to have a new reputation with young pitchers. There's Hermy.
He's cut from a different cloth.
Oh yeah, he missed being left-handed just like Mike James.
0-2 the count. 1 out, nobody on in the 9th, and a base hit for Cirillo. Boy, did he hang in there well and take an 0-2 pitch and drive it into left field. There's the go-ahead run with 1 out in the 9th. He can hit.
And he's a good hitter, and he's really had good success against Cardinal pitching. Got a slider and was able to pull it into left field. And even there, he got him reaching for us, so it wasn't that it was a little bit too much of the plate.
It's Ron Gant now, 0 for 2 with a walk. He's capable of untying this game. 2-2 in the 9th. 1 on, 1 out. Not with that swing, he's not. Strike 1.
Mancini set up inside, and that's late in the ball game. You got to be very careful there, especially with a guy like, you know, Ron Gant's a guy that you can intimidate a little bit, but you don't want to leave it in the middle half in because he pulls off of everything.
A high strike, 0-2.
High hanging slider, but got away with it. Buddy Bell did not like that. I mean, that was very evident of the new strike zone.
It was 0-2 on Cirillo. Timlin lost him. And now Gant. He loses Gant as that ball's into left center field. It short hops the wall. Edmonds makes the play. They're going to bring Cirillo to the plate. Throw by Vigna. Here we go. Goodbye, Cirillo. 2 out.
Vigna took an excellent throw from Jimmy Edmonds. Edmonds is uncanny in his ability to just spin and throw a strike to the relay man. Here he gets Vigna. Vigna took his time. He's really kind of off balance, but he made sure he got it. Plenty of time for Mike Matheny to set up and make sure that he could just push Cirillo off the plate. He doesn't come anywhere near it. Takes the throw, pushes himself, he protects himself all the way, and the runner doesn't get there. Ron Gant did. He gets a double, and then he follows up and goes to third on the throw.
So Gant standing at third with the crowd doing what it was doing, and I'm sure Matheny thinking about the play that just happened. Tony La Russa could not get Matheny's attention to tell him to walk Brent Mayne. Finally, La Russa had to come out of the dugout and yell for Matheny and say, hey, put this guy on. Let's pitch to the rookie Uribe, who's on deck.
There you go. Jimmy is so accurate by hitting that cutoff man, getting it back. You know, he doesn't have to aim for him or anything. He just instinctively hits him. And the same thing with Vigna. Remember, Joe, Buddy Bell used Shumpert, his infielder, earlier in this game. So Uribe does have to hit for himself. He's got his backup catcher, and he's got Todd Hollinsworth, the left-handed hitter, but he doesn't have anybody to play shortstop.
So Uribe can be the hero here, and now Dave Duncan is going to come out of the dugout and talk to Timlin. Timlin had an 0-2 count on Cirillo, and he wrapped the base hit into left. He had an 0-2 count on Gant, and Gant pounded one into left center field, but the defense took over. And now with first and third, 2 out, what do you think they're talking about?
Well, I think that's the one thing that when I was talking about it, is making him more of a complete pitcher, because he had that ability last year to get a real quick 0-2 count, but then he would make a careless pitch or a pitch that was too much in the zone, and hitters made him pay.
Tom Mee, our director, showing a shot of Jim Edmonds talking to Albert Pujols. That's Jim Edmonds trying to teach the young guy how to play the outfield.
And you got to remember that a lot of things can be going on right here. This is a kid, 20 years of age, just come up from Double-A.
Timlin took advantage of him right there.
Yes, he did. But, you know, as we said, he can get there. He can get ahead real quick, but you got to finish him off.
First and third, 2 out. 2-2 game, and a pop-up on the infield. Renteria, the stage is set. And how did the Cardinals set it up? A 2-run homer by Pujols in the second. The Rockies tied it in the 6th. And then the defense took over. The play at the plate to keep the game 2-2. Bottom of the 9th, time for a hero. A 2-2 score, bottom of the 9th inning. What a start to the home season with this game. Tune in tonight at 6:30 for Midwest Sports Tonight, presented by Verizon. Find out all the issues, stories, and headlines that affect Midwest's local teams, as well as features on the entire local sports scene. Midwest Sports Tonight, presented by Verizon, tonight at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net. Jim Hayes all around Busch Stadium. The Samari Roll courting going on by the Rams, and the Blues and Sharks, they'll get underway on Thursday night. It's a rematch. Sharks winning in round 1 last year. The Blues have a lot of fans with these Cardinal players. We were all watching those games while the team was actually in Colorado last year. All those fluke goals, and that was a frustrating series. The Blues get another crack at them on Thursday night.
I got another crack at my star of the game, too.
Bobby Bonilla hitless with a walk. Gabe White pitching the 9th, game tied. That's down the left field line. What a start. Bonilla will cruise into second with a leadoff double here in the 9th inning. Welcome to St. Louis, Bobby Bonilla. It's not a home run, but I'll take it.
I didn't say. I just said something good. Take that, Joe Buck.
I like it.
And I know you're happy for him.
J.D. Drew will come out and run. And Bonilla will head off.
See, and if you really think about it, this is the better matchup because you got more of a fastball pitcher than the changeup Nagel guy, and that's what Bobby can turn on anybody's fastball.
Well, when Drew was announced as the pinch runner, everybody did that Drew thing. Poor Bobby Bonilla is so used to getting booed, he probably thought, my gosh, I doubled and they booed me.
Oh, I think he
knows.
He knows.
That's terrific. He's worked hard this spring. He had a great spring hitting the baseball, and he's on this team for what he does batting right-handed. So good for you, Bobby Bonilla. He starts it with a double, and now are we going to have, well, we'll have a meeting on the mound. They're going to talk about how to pitch Ray Lankford. Jimenez is out in the bullpen, but no signal out to the pen yet from Buddy Bell.
You know, also, Joe, you might even tell your left-hander, I don't even mind if you walk him. I want you to pitch to him, but try to get him to go expand his zone and get himself out. But I've got Jimenez out there, and you know he can get the ground balls and we get double plays. But don't let Ray Lankford beat you.
And how will the Cardinals play it? Winning run at second with nobody out here in the home opener, a 2-2 game in the 9th. Lankford could win it. Shortstop out of position, and Lankford was hit on the hand as he tried to bunt.
Yeah, they're saying
strike one.
He tried to say the ball hit him. The umpire said you're coming back to the plate. Foul ball. This shortstop that's standing at second base comes in there, and very nearly did he get it on the knuckles or on the hand. even though it probably stung a little bit.
Doing it in the act of bunting, though, it's still a strike.
Right.
0-1 the count. Winning run at second. Drew with his great speed. Nobody out in the 9th inning. And a spin, no throw back to second. Time called at the plate.
Well, J.D. dared him to do it, and I mean, everything out at second base, they didn't know anything about the time at home plate.
The home plate umpire granted time at home, and even had Drew been picked off, it wouldn't have counted.
Well, we sure would have had an argument.
Oh, yeah. Willie McGee was a hero on opening night back in '97. His protege, guy he worked a lot with when he was a minor leaguer, was Ray Langford, trying to excite these fans here on opening day 2001 by getting a bunt down. Throw to third, no chance. Safe at first is Langford, and it's first and third, nobody out. Ray Langford does it with a bunt.
Out of way, Ray. You know, when things are going right, everything you do. Here he does. He drops it down here. Gabe Whitefield's a left-hander. He doesn't have to spin or throw. He can throw right to third base, but you have to tag him. And Drew, with that great speed underneath the tag. Fielder's choice. It's a sack, fielder's choice. You got runners at the corners. And no doubt you have to pull in the infield now.
Now we'll see what they do with Pujols. We're not going to see it from White. White made the wrong decision there. As he went to third, it was just too good of a bunt by Langford. There's nothing White could do. He should have taken the out at first. Now the Cardinals have 3 cracks at trying to bring the winning run home here in the 9th inning. The former Cardinal will take over. Jose Jimenez will pitch. Drew the winning run at third, and you cannot underline how important that bunt was off the bat of Ray Langford, something he doesn't usually do very well.
And something that all of a sudden on this ball club, you know, you ask everybody to do the little things. Check your egos at the door. We need to play team baseball.
Now the question is, will they pitch to Pujols? They could walk him to load the bases. We'll find out in a minute. Jimenez takes over. Well, Ray Langford dropped down the bunt, sacrifice fielder's choice. Somewhere in this country, Willie McGee busted out into a smile, and he probably doesn't even know why. Langford might get a call later tonight when McGee sees what Langford did. We all saw what McGee did in the '97 home opener. A 9th inning 2-run home run off Uget Urbina to win the game for the Cardinals, as the Cardinals were staring at an 0-7 start. This season started out 0-3 with a series sweep by the Rockies out in Denver. The Cardinals swept Arizona, and now the Cardinals are trying to return the favor to the Rockies. It's first and third, nobody out, and the Rockies are not going to let Pujols be the hero here in the 9th inning. They're going to walk him and load him up for Matheny.
Even though he's a rookie, it makes perfect sense. You load him up, and then you go after Matheny. Probably Sutton.
I don't think you even go after Matheny. You go after Sutton. Matheny is going to be called back. They don't have their left-hander Myers loose in the bullpen.
Or it doesn't make any difference.
Well, Jimenez, the closer for these Rockies, is going to be tested here in the 9th inning. Well, you've got Sutton. Then another pinch hitter would be needed, then Vina. The Cardinals will have some chances here against Jimenez, and they have the right guy coming to the plate, in my mind, and Larry Sutton. He'll bat with the bases loaded, nobody out, and he gets to face the right-hander. So Matheny lifted for a pinch hitter. And after a long day of baseball, could it be Larry Sutton who's the 9th inning hero?
Could it be Larry Sutton, who really had to feel the pressure with the Cardinals making a roster change? It was pretty obvious it was probably going to be either Sutton or Mabry. Neither one of them have a hit on the year, but this guy has shown you to be a professional hitter. He's shown the ability to hit coming off the bench in the clutch, and is a guy that you know can give you a lot of sacrifice flies, but he's facing a ground ball pitcher.
The outfield is in, the infield is in.
The guy that matters is Drew at third. The other guy that matters is Larry Sutton at the plate. An opening day frenzy is 90 feet away. Diving stop Shumpert. Throw to the plate. What a play by Terry Shumpert. He saves it for now. Terry Shumpert took a hit away to his left and then somehow got the ball to the plate accurately for the force out.
Boy, you know, whenever you sit there, and JD didn't look like he got a good start on it. He has to go once he sees that ball on the ground. When somebody dives and comes up and still able to get somebody with good speed, he could not have gotten a good jump. What a tough break, because you thought it was perfect. Even though he dove and stopped it, you still thought that he was going to be able to beat it out. But it took a great play, and we're still playing.
Now it's Marrero. Marrero off the bench to pinch hit for Timlin. Bases loaded, 1 out, ball 1.
It's one thing too, you know, Jimenez can get himself in a lot of trouble trying to throw that power sinker.
Marrero, a big day yesterday in Arizona. Hit a game-tying home run off Randy Johnson. That's with the bases loaded, 1 out, and chased one there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
If you're a reliever, you just dream about this situation. You know, I'm going to come into a game with the game on the line, bases loaded. You think about these kind of situations. So if you come into anything less than that, you're completely relaxed. And if you get the ultimate, the bases loaded, tie game, nobody out, well, you say, let's have fun.
Last position player available for Tony La Russa is Eli Marrero. The 1-1. That gets away. Play at the plate. Cardinals win it on opening day here at home. 3-2. We don't know yet if it's a wild pitch or passed ball. It could very well be a passed ball.
Well, the one thing about, you think about the power sinker, the ball's going to be down, and that ball stayed up, and Name could not hold on to it. So we're still, Larry Walker walking in.
Let's go down to the field. Dan McLaughlin standing by with a home opener hero. Dan.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. The home opener for Albert Pujols, all of 21 years of age. You go deep, and what a thrill for you.
Well, it was nice. You know, I came down here. I know we were going to have a good crowd. You know, I never get any pressures on. I just went out there and have fun. You know, as soon as I walk out in this field, I was like, oh, my God, you know. But I didn't try to get any pressure and didn't try to do too much. You know, I just went out there and have fun like I've been doing the last couple of weeks.
How about your first home run? You say you really don't feel too much pressure. Your first home run here in front of this big crowd at Busch Stadium, the emotions for you?
Well, it was emotion, man. I can't explain. It was real nice, you know, hitting a home run. I'm their own town, you know, for the fans, because they support a really, really good baseball, you know, and then they received me with a good crowd, you know, good round of applause and everything. It was amazing hitting a home run against.
How many family and friends did you have here today?
Well, my whole family couldn't count, so my brother just came, my uncle, my wife, and friends, but a total like 10. Yeah.
Way to go.
Thanks a lot.
You bet. Albert Pujols, just a rookie, Joe, outstanding here today.
He even knows the right things to say. He can't be 21. He does everything right. This is easily the Budweiser play of the game with a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. Fitting, Al, that Ray Lankford would score the winning run with all he's done here in this first week.
That's what I was thinking, Joe. It just let him get all this glad stuff and all this applause and everything like this. But this is a team sport. Remember, they asked him to drop it down, and he did it.
Who started the inning? Bobby Bonilla with a double. Well, this was a fun day. Back in a minute. These kids won't forget opening day 2001, and now to clean up some business, it was a wild pitch, not a passed ball, with a winning run scored.
Yeah, good pitch by Andy Bennett, the home run by Pujols, and the winning run scored by Ray Langford.
Well, it's opening day. We welcomed back a lot of old friends, and we made some new memories. Here's a new friend, Albert Pujols, the 21-year-old rookie, put the Cardinals on top with a home run early. The Rockies tied it. Pujols did a little bit of everything, and in the end, it was a wild pitch that ended the game. Wednesday night, Cardinals tonight. Rockies and Cardinals. We're back at you on Fox Sports Net. Coming up next, follow the lives of 3 Chicago high school basketball stars and prep Chicago hoops next on Fox Sports Net. Good night.